TikTok time to rock. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's watching from all over the world. D Wood here. Yeah, AP's running late, so I decided to go ahead and start. And then I just saw in the chat, Ash Mays said, tag me in. What do you mean, Ash? You want to jump in? Want to jump in, Ash? You want to jump in and be the more reliable version of AP who's actually on time? Because you were on time. You're over there in the chat, which means you were there. How's everyone doing? David Wood plays Minecraft. David Wood has never played Minecraft. David Wood has played a lot of games. Oh, hey, Ash, let me, yep, you said you want to jump in. I will have to send you the link. All right, guys. Ash says he wants to jump in. We'll see how this goes. But I got to find his email 1 second. All right, go right there. Oh, wait, I should actually send it on here because I have multiple emails and I have it over here. So I will send this link to myself to transfer it over to my laptop because my laptop is connected to my other email. I'm sure there are better ways to do all this stuff. I just don't do them this way. All right, so let me find Ash. 1 second, everyone. This was not planned ahead, but Ash says he wants to jump in, and he may be the more reliable version of AP. So we're going to do this, by golly. 1 second. Hey, what are all these emails from everyone? Huh. Interesting stuff. Huh. Lots of stuff. Hey, lots of stuff in my email. I don't check all my emails consistently, so I open it up and there's all this stuff in here. All right. I know Ash emailed this before. Ash. All right, there we got. Okay, we got Ash. I need to get the link to join. One second. Hey, this is taking way longer than I thought it would. All right, and there we go. All right, found Ash. Got the link, sent the link. We're all set. We're all set now, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I wanted to actually check out some stuff from Dennis Prager, and it was just recently. I have no idea how I missed this, but it was apparently last November when he had a severe spinal cord injury, and it looks like he's paralyzed from the neck down. He said he can't move his fingers and so on. And he breathes through a tube in his neck, so looks like he's completely paralyzed from the neck down. But, yeah, so I didn't even know, and someone brought it up recently, and I looked it up. And then he posted one video, which we're about to check out, about Charlie Kirk. So someone's recording him talking about Charlie Kirk. And then they posted a longer interview on basically various relevant topics that are going on right now. And really, really smart guy. In fact, that was 1 second. Just checking this. Why is everyone sending me 10,000 messages? Sorry, it's just funny to make sure these aren't emergencies. Huh. Okay. That's not an emergency. That's just funny. But you guys won't know because you can't read what I'm seeing right now. That is funny though. Okay. Just want to send out this link. We're going to check out the Dennis Prager's video about Charlie. It's short. It's only a couple minutes. Then there's a much longer interview. We're going to look at a couple sections of that. Super smart guy, super nice guy. 1 second. Let's check on Ash here. Hey, Ash, why are you frozen?
I shouldn't be frozen.
Moving real. Oh, there we go. All right, now you're moving. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself, man?
Good, good, good.
I know if I harassed you enough, I'd get on the screen.
Well, your beard is way cooler than AP's.
Well, he's getting there. He's getting there.
AP's is kind of like mine, and that well, I mean, he's obviously got significantly more facial hair, but when mine grows, it just kind of grows out like that. That's why I keep it short because it grows straight out. I don't get the cool, just long beard. But
I was trimming the sides for a while, but I just gave up on that. I'm like, just leave it. As long as I'm shaving my head, we're good.
all right, so hey, you familiar with Dennis Prager?
Somewhat, yeah. I used to watch some of his stuff um, back in the day. I haven't seen him for a while, obviously, but
I'm just looking for this list. Did you ever see it? It was on X. Charlie Kirk, Dennis. He mentioned three people that he actually watches and pays attention to, and Dennis was one of them. I just wanted to look at that list. Where is it, man? It was a tweet from him. It was a tweet from Charlie at some point, and he said someone he watches, someone he listens to, and someone else. Hey, anyone out there know what I'm talking about? It was popular. It was a popular tweet that circulated around where Charlie Kirk. Where is it? I don't even know how to look for it because most people shared it by. It was a screenshot of a tweet rather than sharing the tweet. I see tons of stuff. I'm looking up Charlie. See, I figured I'd look up Charlie Kirk and Dennis Prager, but there's tons of stuff. Everything else is popping up.
I know that Dennis Prager was like a mentor to like a lot of the conservative movement, um, but
Oh,
then
here we
like
go.
differed on certain like moral things.
Okay, I found it. It's a Charlie Kirk tweet. It's from 2018, so 7 years ago. And he said, people ask me all the time where I get my ideas and arguments from. He said, I read Jordan Peterson, I watch Ben Shapiro, I listen to Dennis Prager. Those three are by far the most effective, wise, intelligent, and impactful thinkers of our time. So he may have become interested in other speakers and commentators and so on over time. But as of 2018, he said, I read Jordan Peterson. I watch Ben Shapiro. I listen to Dennis Prager. And every time I've ever listened to Dennis Prager, he seems wise. Seems like a wise guy, not in the mafia sense, but in an actual wisdom sense.
Yep.
And then, yeah, got paralyzed. That's rough. That's pretty rough. You know what it sounds like though. If you can't move around and stuff, and you have a way to write, he's apparently cranked out a really important book, and he did the entire book while he's paralyzed. So, not sure how he's going about that. Probably easiest way to do that would be dictating to someone, but I know they have like the Stephen Hawking thing where you can actually write with like your eyes and stuff like that. So, anyway, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Just put the kids to bed. So I perfect timing because I was literally about to put the flame to a cigar outside. So I got in just in time and do that later.
Hey, so you jumped in because AP's a late trader. Why don't you go ahead and tell everyone about yourself, and then we'll jump into some videos, and then AP can come in hours later and basically be a total stereotype of Turkish people again.
Yeah, just roughly about myself, without to take up too much of the airways here. Basically, I grew up in the Orthodox Jewish community, in Chabad specifically. I immigrated to Israel on my own when I was younger and served in the army, did a number of years of security work after the army, um, and then at some point kind of fell away from being an Orthodox Jew. And then years later, after a long time of going through things. I had been introduced to the gospel and so on. Didn't really take it very seriously for a number of years. Very recently, started taking it more seriously and started becoming a believer. A little bit before that, I was doing videos kind of addressing what I saw as the flaws in rabbinic Jewish theology. I mean, I say rabbinic Judaism, we just call it Judaism, but for people that don't understand, I make that distinction. And then that went into kind of, well, here are the parallels where we actually see Christian theology, not only in the Old Testament, but also in early Jewish sources. They may have rejected Christianity, but not necessarily all of what became Christian theology. So that's kind of what I do as far as videos and content.
And so did you have the beard when you were Orthodox Jewish?
I did. I had it in the Army, had it in security work. I had a brief period of stupidity where I shaved the whole thing off. And I looked, a guy at work told, I'm not going to use the words that he used, but he described me as looking like certain body parts.
And yeah,
so I decided to grow it back.
Yeah, don't let Muslims see you without a beard on, because they get weird thoughts. They get weird thoughts.
It was actually a Muslim coworker in security work in Israel that made the comment. He was a funny dude.
Stop! You're looking too attractive with no beard. How dare you? Grow your beard back. Grow your beard back, or I won't be able to work with you.
It was a funny dude. He got yelled at by an Arab bus driver that passed by us who knew his family and saw him smoking during the day in Ramadan, and he got in a lot of trouble.
Oh, smoking during Ramadan. Ooh, naughty. Yeah,
he got in trouble for that one.
Hey,
he was a cool dude, though.
I just realized I forgot to send this out on Twitter. I always send it out for people who want to watch. Let me send this out real quick. So yeah, guys, we're going to check out clip here. What do you think about Charlie Kirk? You hate him? You love him? In between?
Oh, for me?
No, my Aunt Maple. Who do you think I'm talking to?
Charlie, I made a video about
the only
this.
One here.
I regretted. I regret deeply. I know that the likelihood that he would have seen it is slim to none, but I regret deeply not having made some kind of video thanking him, because he was one of the earliest voices that convinced me to go actually read the gospel, and that kind of started me on that journey. So yeah, Charlie was great.
Yeah, I've already mentioned I only saw a couple of his videos ever, and I first I saw one or two of his videos where he was talking that people clip from his discussions on college campuses, but like the first time I actually seriously sat down and watched something was when he was interviewing AP, and it was just I was only watching it because he was interviewing AP. And then found out that he wants an Islam series and so on. And I started thinking, wow, this guy's sharp. This guy's sharp. If he's you got all sorts of people who have this like vague concern about jihad or something like that. And they're like, yeah, it's sort of an issue and stuff. But it's always like, guys, do you understand how much of an issue this is? Because if so, you should really, really be preparing. And I've been saying for years that the biggest threat to Islam is just an informed population that understand it. That's Islam's kryptonite right there. So how are people not just becoming informed about this? How is the church not teaching how to respond to this stuff? Because if that's its weakness, why are we not doing what would actually completely wreck Islam and its agenda? I'm always wondering why people in positions who have organizations and stuff don't like just do something, put together something. Anyway, Charlie was sharp enough to actually put that in motion. And yeah, guys, that is happening. That's still happening. And multiple people responded after he was shot. We're all wondering, like, okay, well, is that off now? Is that off now? Because Charlie was the one who wanted it, and is that off? And nope, multiple people made it known. Nope, this was a priority. Charlie said this is a priority, so we're going to make sure everything that he considered a priority gets done, because we don't want anything. We don't want that bullet to have taken out any plans of Charlie. So that's what we heard. So that's all happening. And several of us are actually traveling next month to do the first batch of recordings for Turning Point. So this should be interesting stuff.
Yeah, the whole Charlie thing for me, the biggest thing that hit me and took me a minute to reset from was the realization that I knew it to be true, but it didn't quite feel real. That people that disagree with me, there are people that disagree with me that would want to actually kill me for it. I don't think that's most people. I think there's not as many as fear mongers would like to make it seem, but there are people out there, and it didn't hit me until that it's actually true. So,
Yep. All right. Well, let's go ahead and watch the short video, the short Prager video. So this was, and apparently because the long interview, they say this is his first public appearance since he was paralyzed. So this would be since last November. And so that's the full interview. And this was they were obviously recorded this at the same time, but they made a separate little video out of it. But this was Dennis Prager talking about Charlie Kirk. Let's check it out, everyone.
So Dennis, we're sitting here today on the day of the memorial of Charlie Kirk. I came here because I wanted to sit with you, knowing that it is very likely that if you could, you would have been on that stage speaking in memory of Charlie. But sadly, you couldn't. And so the world still wants to hear what you have to say and maybe what you would have said if you were on stage.
I actually wonder here, because I'm thinking, she just said, hey, we know you would have been on stage if you could, but you can't. And so what people want to know what you would have said. My first thought was, oh, don't let Candace Owens hear you say this, because she'll be like, oh, you're trying to claim him. But she got her start, I think, on, I've seen multiple people say, I wasn't following them back then, but I've heard multiple people say that Dennis Prager gave her start, and also she worked with Charlie and stuff. So I don't know if she's come to hate him over the years because he's a little too Jewish. So I don't know if she's come to hate. Does anyone know if she's come to hate him over the years, or if she's still cool with him? Like, is she like, well, he's one of the good ones. He's one of the good ones. So if like he'd get a pass if he went and spoke, or
I honestly don't know what her categories are. Like, what are her categories of what the good ones are? I still don't know, because she thinks that Messianic Jews who believe in Jesus are also like Satan. So I don't even know what the category is.
Hey, look who we got here. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, good. Why am I on the left, man? What is this?
I don't know. You got to make yourself bigger too, because he came in and he was all close up, so I had to zoom in on myself.
I can just stand like this.
Oh no, you can't. You don't. I can actually zoom in on your big giant head, AP, and then we'll all be super big here. Where is it,
Ash,
man?
it's nice to see you here. Nice to see
you, man.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, he was over there and he was like, "Let me in. We can't talk about this stuff."
He was moaning about you being late, so I said, "Hey, tag me in."
Nice.
Let's see. Hang on. It's crazy. I've been using Ecamm now for 10 years, and I still do not. Hey, look at that. What? I just zoomed in on you. I am super high tech, man. Oh, look at that. Now your head is big too.
You gotta let go of this boomer business, man. It's like you have to figure something out. Maybe use a better system or learn something.
Yeah, you know what sucks is it's the same with like making videos or doing anything else. Like, I'll learn a way to do it that I know is not the best way to do it, but it'll get done, right? Like, I'll think, okay, well, if I do this and I do this and I do this and I do this, it'll work. And I know if I just learned how to use the program, there's like way shorter ways to do it, but I never actually learn it, when I could probably be saving massive amounts of time over the years if I would just sit down when I get something and learn how to use it really well. And anyway, I never do.
Now who has the better beard? Look at this.
Oh yeah. Ash actually came on here bragging about how his beard is way better than yours, and yours is stupid and grows straight out to the sides, and his just.
I knew it.
He was talking mad trash. I was trying to defend you. I was like, hey man, AP's got a cool beard, man, for a Turk.
You guys want to see something cool about beards?
What's up?
No.
Look at this. Do you see that?
Yep.
Ooh.
That's St. Paul.
Hey, that's an actual photograph of St. Paul, and he looks exactly like you.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Very nice.
Hey, so AP, before you rudely interrupted and jumped in, we were checking out Dennis Prager's reaction. Well, his short video about what he would have said if he had been on stage. AP, do you know? Do you know if Candace has always been favorable towards Dennis Prager, or if she changed when she went down the Jews are conspiring about
It's a good
everything?
question. I know that she in the past had respect for him, but I'm not actually sure what happened in the meantime. I don't know if they've interacted. I don't know if they. I know that Dennis Prager did this whole thing about her. Didn't he write a letter or something, an open letter to Candace Owens because of her anti-Semitism? I think that's what he did, as far as I remember. I'm not sure what that unfolded after that. But Charlie Kirk had a lot of love and respect for Dennis Prager. Yeah.
I'm just looking to see, because I asked a couple minutes ago and then I forgot to look whether someone actually knows. Because you could, I would think, okay, he helped you get started. He helped you get started and you were doing videos with him and working with him. So it'd be kind of slimy to start hating on him and stuff like that. But that is exactly what you did with Ben Shapiro. So I don't know where she'd be.
Yeah, she wrote. So Dennis Prager wrote a letter to Candace Owens on September 3rd, 2024, about her wild claims regarding Israel was funded by Frankists. Frankists were abducting children in Europe and things like that, and how apparently Israel is controlling America and things like that. So he wrote a whole letter to her, which he published. I'm not sure if she ever responded to that, but that was a little thing there.
Yeah, people are. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so I don't know if she'd be like, okay, well, Dennis is one of the good ones. Most of them are bad, but he one of the good ones. It's funny. It's funny because her response when she's called an anti-Semite is the same as people who get accused of being a racist, and they always go, "But I got a black friend." It's like, okay, that you might not be a racist. People toss that around, but you having a black friend does not mean that by itself would not mean you could be a racist and have a black friend. Because if you've met racists over the years, you do have the racists who are like, he one of the good ones. There's a couple of good ones from that race over there and stuff. So Candace, but I have this Jewish friend. Like, okay, that doesn't prove you're not a complete lunatic on this issue. So anyway, yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So he apparently responded to her, and I'm not sure what her reaction is. Maybe she loves him and is good with him. Yes, Candace started via Prager. He ended up recording a letter he wrote to her about his concerns about the way she was going. Hey, AP, do you know when that was? When was that? Was that before he was paralyzed or after?
I just said that, man. It was September.
I was looking at stuff, so I didn't catch it, and so I'm asking you.
It was September 3rd, 2024.
Oh. Yep, so that was shortly before.
When was he paralyzed?
November. It was an injury, some sort of fall spinal cord injury. Isn't that crazy? Because I mean, he's oldish, but he was still, healthy and going around speaking and stuff like that.
Wait a minute. So, September 2024, Dennis Prager wrote an open letter to Candace Owens. 2 months later,
can we say that this was a plot by Candace Owens? Is that where you're going?
Very likely it is. I mean, what else could it possibly be?
Yeah. We just want to point out, guys, if this had happened in reverse, Candace Owens had posted a letter against someone, and then 2 months later she was paralyzed, you know what she'd be saying.
Yeah.
Hey, how certain can we be that if Candace Owens had sent a public letter to Bibi Netanyahu, and then 2 months later had an accident and was paralyzed. How sure can we be that she would have said this was an attack by Mossad?
99.5%.
I would say 1,000% because that's what
100%.
she said. That's what she said. And I don't mean in the weird joking sense. I mean, that's what she actually said. If something happens to her, 1,000% it's Israel. That's what she said. Interesting stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and check out this video. Oh, hey. What are you doing tomorrow? Talking to you, AP. Why would I be asking Ash Mays what he's doing tomorrow?
Oh, maybe you want to find out what he's doing tomorrow.
Hey, Ash, what are you doing tomorrow, man? Want to go hang out?
Why are you asking me what I'm doing tomorrow now? You can ask me that later, man.
I'm asking you because IP messaged me as if you guys are going live tomorrow, and I'm making sure that's what's actually going on before I agree.
Oh, yeah. I think that's happening, yeah. I think
So you're going on his channel tomorrow? Or is that on your channel?
His channel.
Okay. All right, so looks like tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, looks like tomorrow we are on Inspiring Philosophy's channel going through Nick Fuentes's interview on the PBD podcast. That's interesting. I haven't seen it. Yet, so I'll be reacting off the cuff. What are you laughing at? Have you seen it?
No, it's just so funny because people don't know, but I actually took Mike Winger's photo when I took a selfie with him and put it as the profile picture of David Wood. Whenever he messages me, it's just Mike Winger sending me a text.
I don't know why people think this is funny. It's like when people say someone is really evil and then they like make the person look like Hitler or something. It's not stuff to joke around about, guys. Basically, I have my faults. I've done my share of wrong, but I've tried to be a force for good, and you're basically calling me you think it's funny to call me the most evil person on the planet.
The thing is, sometimes I forget that I did that, and then I get a message like, hey, what's up? How you doing? What are you doing? And then it's just a big face, a big smile of Mike Winger.
Well, that's pretty funny. I'm going to change your picture on my phone for when you call me, and I'm going to make it Candace Owens. And then every time you message me, I'll be like, hey, what's up, Candy? Hey, Crazy Candy. See how you like that. Crazy Candy, Crazy Candy, Crazy Candy. All right.
Nice.
All right. So she just, we just started. We're only a few seconds into it, like 20, 30 seconds into it. But she asked Dennis Prager, hey, I'm sure you wish you could be there, but you couldn't, talking about speaking with everyone else up on stage. And she said, so what would you have said? What would you have said if you could have been there? That's what we were checking out before you rudely interrupted because you came in late. And so here's his response. Ready?
Paul.
Here we go.
Well, I think you're right. I think I would have been invited. Erica knew of our friendship and how much I had touched Charlie's life. As I mentioned earlier, he claimed to have listened to more of my talks and courses than probably anyone else, and he might be right.
And I did point out, you've seen the message, AP, right, where he said he reads Jordan Peterson, he watches Ben Shapiro, and he listens to Dennis Prager.
Yeah,
guys, I'm emphasizing that for a reason. Charlie didn't just he wasn't just born doing what he did. He had a lot of natural ability and stuff, but for years he was listening to Dennis Prager. He was listening to Dennis Prager for years. So I'm sure that had a big influence on his talking points and so on. So my point there is probably some good stuff to listen to. And I've always been impressed every time I've listened to anything by Dennis Prager. And I have to say, now I want to listen to more Dennis Prager.
Dedicated his last book to me, and I was very moved by that. I did record something for them, but it was without video, and I'm not even sure she ever got to hear it. And in it, I commented on something I mentioned to you at the beginning when my friend from high school, Rabbi Joseph Telushkin, told me, and he's officiated at, I'm sure, at least 100 funerals. What he does is he speaks to the friends and the widow or widower and the children. And he was particularly moved when he would meet the children of the person who died. And they would each tell him that they believed that they were the most loved of the children. And that's what Charlie's friends think.
He said, so the rabbi said that he officiated hundreds of funerals, and he was always I think this is what he just said, he was most moved when he would speak to children of the person who died and find out that each of the children thought that he was the one that they loved, that the guy who died loved most. And he said that's what Charlie made the people around him feel like they're all the special one. And yet they all felt like that, which means he's either a really good guy or world champion manipulator. But sounds like he was the real good guy.
We were all the closest friend that he had.
We're all the closest
And you heard at the memorial that that's what people felt. That's what Charlie was able to achieve, which is a very great accomplishment. Anyway, and I would have spoken about his courage, but not just courage, his knowledge. I mean, I would watch him respond to all these students who threw everything they had at him. And his responses were so excellent and so knowledge-based. I couldn't get over how much he knew and how much he retained. Anyway, it was all very remarkable.
Well, I'm sitting here finding it remarkable. He's like, Dennis is saying he's so impressed with Charlie on the college campuses. And yet, before Charlie was famous for being on the college campuses, Charlie said he was busy learning from Dennis Prager, Ben Shapiro, and Jordan Peterson. That's my point is, guys, that's kind of setting up a pattern. It's good to find people who are knowledgeable and wise and absorb a ton of material for them, and then to go out and engage. Sonny here said, Fuentes making fun of funeral. Did he make fun of the funeral?
He made fun of Erica Kirk and made also fun of the memorial service. And he started with this whole thing like, what kind of widow goes up there and is like, a few days after her husband is dead, goes up there and is like smiling and has tons of makeup on her face. It's like, I forgive him. He did that whole thing. It's like, this guy's just disgusting, man.
Yeah, you've seen the people attacking her. You've even seen like the insane stuff attacking her. And I've seen a lot of people, she seems fake. She seems like she's acting. Guys, I've seen lots of people say that. That's some of the stuff that if you think it, you don't say it unless you are just 100% sure. Right? If you start, it looks kind of fake. All right, you keep that crap to yourself unless you're 100% sure. And even then, probably a good idea to shut up. Because I can guarantee you're not 100% sure. You don't know how people react unless you've seen them a bunch of times, and then you can predict exactly how they react to things, and therefore they're being fake in the way they react, and so on. Yeah. It's basically years of people. Here's what I had for breakfast, and posting that crap on Facebook. They've concluded that every thought that pops through their head needs to be shared with the world, and it doesn't, guys. It doesn't. I don't share the vast majority of what pops into my head because it would destroy the world if I blurted out everything that popped into my head. Were you saying, AP?
Yeah, I like to keep most of the stuff that I feel to myself. I know it's a very popular thing to do, to just put it all out there. Maybe it's cool, maybe it's likable for a lot of people, but it's just incredible. There is one aspect of social media, which is that which is a lot of people are out there, thousands, millions maybe, are out there sitting at home, having their phones in their hands, and constantly just making judgments about others and how they do things. It's so bad that they even like they have become armchair experts on everything. It's like you see a plane fly, and like, oh, why is it not flying this way? Why is it not
Yeah.
flying that way?
Yeah,
I could have
why?
made it differently. Wait, why is this rocket taking off so slowly?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, did the police look into this? Why do scientists do it this like this and not
Yeah.
like that? Like, you don't even have a job, man. Like,
Yeah.
stop judging people.
I
Like,
realized that
that's
after
bad.
with Charlie, like everyone suddenly became
Yeah,
an expert
Oh, yeah.
suddenly
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
everyone was
yeah,
suddenly
and
an expert
everyone.
on
This,
rifles.
like instantly, this would take a world class, one of the greatest snipers in the world. And everyone who had a background with guns is like, "What are you talking about with a 30-06 with a scope?
That's the funny thing.
That's an amateur.
It was
That's an amateur
it
shot."
was the ideal range for that rifle, and it was moderate to easy to actually get that shot from
It
that
was like the
distance.
zero range for the rifle,
Yes,
like what
yes,
you'd
it was the
zero it at.
ideal range. So it was actually incredibly easy for a trained shooter to take that shot, for example. But you had people immediately come out going, "Well, no way! This was some random guy. This must have been a professional." Candace Owens said that too, and she's
Yeah.
not some random person. She is somebody who has millions of people watching her.
And then they all
So
go out and blurt out the same thing. And oh, well, Candace is an
yeah.
expert, and therefore I know what I'm talking about right now.
So you have that aspect, and then you also now have the other aspect, which is, aside from simply sitting there and trying to make judgments about everything, it's also now judging people's emotions and judging people's reactions. That is also a thing. Wait a minute, why is she smiling? Why is she? If my loved one died, I would be crying. I would be on the floor. Nobody would pick me up. I would be dying.
Why isn't her mascara running? If she's really crying, why isn't her mascara running down her
And the
face?
thing is, you actually tune in, you actually watch the episode of her going on Turning Point on the Charlie Kirk podcast live and sitting and talking to people. That is also what got a lot of backlash from people. They're like, "Oh no, what is this? She's laughing, she's smiling. Why is she not even upset?" If you actually tune in, if you actually turn it on and watch it, you can see that she's very, very noticeably upset, very noticeably, significantly different from how she used to be. Very somber, very, very, very sad. Still laughs, because that's what people do when they have a conversation, right? Still laughs, still smiles, but is very frequently goes down this very defeated look and defeated mood and all that. People react differently to loss. People react differently to tragedies. I know that I'm quite weak with tragedies and things like that. If something like that happened to me, I would be devastated, and I don't think I would be able to have the strength that she has, which is why I think that she's incredibly strong, and I have a lot of respect for that. She's very, very strong, and she's the right person to lead right now, despite the fact that she also was very noticeably broken as soon as it happened, and probably still is broken. Not probably, definitely is broken, and will be broken for a very, very long time. I mean, even if you're not a very emotional, even if you're not a very attached person, the person that you shared your life with just got brutally shot and killed on camera in front of the world in footage that is incredibly traumatizing. People who have seen it, lots of people who have seen it, can't get over it. It was that traumatizing. And people really think that it didn't affect her. Of course it affected her. Of course it impacted her. People just show their feelings and their losses and their grief differently. People grieve differently. People grieve differently. She might come out and gather her strength and be a mother and be a leader and be there to have conversation, but she might also after that go home and cry herself to bed. That's just how it works. People don't have to be like you. People don't have to be like Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes doesn't even have any life experience. What is he even judging here? The other thing is also, she's a faithful Christian. Charlie Kirk was a faithful Christian. They have always upheld and amplified Christian values. And most importantly, they have also uplifted and valued the Christian ideas and the Christian beliefs that death is not the end, that death is just, that death is the beginning of something better, especially in Charlie's case. When Charlie is brutally killed, brutally murdered for what he's doing now, it is very clearly held by lots of people, including by me and by many others, that he is a martyr, that he gave his life for something beautiful, and that he will be uplifted and taken to a much better place. So for a faithful person, especially for a faithful wife who loves her husband, losing him that way might, if you think about it from a Christian perspective, actually also not only bring tragedy and sadness, but also an amount of joy to her life, because she might think he is a hero, he is a martyr, he achieved the best thing that he could ever achieve, and I want to make myself happy with that, despite the loss and the tragedy and the sadness that I feel. I mean, Nick Fuentes is supposed to be a Christian. He's supposed to be a Catholic. Doesn't he even think about this for a second?
Yeah. When Nabil died, so Nabil, there was Nabil's funeral, and it was interesting that you had Nabil's Muslim family, so his mom, his dad, and sister, and his wife and her family. And anyone who saw it noticed the completely different reactions. The Michelle's family, so that was his wife, for anyone who isn't familiar. Michelle was Nabil's wife, and her mom and dad were there, and they're basically shaking people's hands and hugging people and stuff. But Nabil's Muslim family, they were like sobbing. I mean, just yelling and sobbing. They were, I mean, very, very, very upset. I mean, just imagine you're watching that. Oh, they actually cared, this Christian family. Well, the Christian family believes he's with Jesus right now. And so don't underestimate that effect. But yeah, with Erica, there's lots of things going on right now. So she's got to had multiple things going on. One, she just lost her husband. He was super young. They had all sorts of plans and so on about what they're going to do. And then he's dead. She also has to keep a straight face going on for her daughter, who's asking where her dad is, and she's just telling him, "Oh, he's on a trip with Jesus," and so she can't be around sobbing all day and stuff like that too much. She got to go do that stuff in private. But she's also the new CEO of Turning Point, and she's going to be the one who's leading it, and probably trying to let everyone know, "Hey, I'm strong, and I'm going to." I'm not just going to be a ball of emotion in charge of this thing. So lots of things going on. So yeah, I'll just say again, if you're looking at that going, well, something's off there. That's not how I would react. So I'm going to say she's fake. If a thought goes through your mind, again, you need to be 100% sure, because even if you're 99% sure, if you accuse her of being fake, or even worse, we've seen that there's a plot and she was involved. There's some sick stuff going on online. If you say she's fake or something like that, and there's even a chance that you've done something horribly evil, you've done something evil. If you have a thought in your head, guess what? You haven't done anything evil yet. You haven't done anything evil. If you think, that's not how I would react. That looks a little suspicious to me. You haven't done anything evil yet. You just have a suspicion. Keep that crap to yourself, because if you say it and you're wrong, you've done something really bad. And there's already plenty of people to do something horribly bad out there. Trust me. Trust me. All right. Got about another minute of this video.
Pretty amazing to see almost the entire cabinet, the vice president, the president, all gathered in one place, right?
What is most remarkable?
1 second. Can't say I didn't warn them. Can't say I didn't warn them. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? Where'd they go? Where'd it go, man? There we go. Okay. Prophet, death. There we go. All right. Someone just said, she's fake. Okay. I literally just said, keep your pie hole shut. It's a simple request. Keep your pie hole shut. Keep your stupid thoughts to yourself. Couldn't honor that, therefore got banned. All right. Let me back that up a little bit.
Back to the
Almost the entire cabinet, the vice president, the president, all gathered in one place, right?
What is most remarkable is even I, and I'm not sure Charlie knew how big his impact was. There's a saying among the timber workers in Oregon, you never know the height of a tree until it falls.
That's awesome.
That's
Everyone catch that? That is a good saying. This is...
wow.
I try to figure it out why some people seem so wise, but every time I see Dennis Prager, he's like this. It's, oh, there's this saying here. Oh, I learned this. He apparently just absorbs important points that he encounters throughout his life. And then when it's relevant, he's got something that he learned years earlier, a saying he learned this or that, and he knows when to apply it. And here he's pointing out he didn't even think Charlie understood what an impact he was having. Like if you said, "Hey Charlie, what if you were shot, what do you think is going to happen?" It's like, "Oh yeah, a bunch of people are going to be upset, but yeah, the movement would keep going." He may not have understood how big that would be, and so Dennis Prager just summed that up with, "You don't know how tall a tree is until it falls." Let me see.
until it falls. That's the case with...
Hang on. See, I know you guys by now. I know you guys. Some of you dopes are thinking, what? You can measure the tree. That's not the point. If you're standing on the ground looking up at the tree, you don't really realize how big that is until it falls. And then you see it and they're like, whoa. Anyway, that's the point. It's the same thing. Quit jumping to conclusions and then blurting stuff out. Sorry about that. Let me go back.
Until it falls. That's the case with Charlie.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your wisdom. I'll share with you that I have received hundreds and hundreds of text messages.
Pause. Hey, J415 Espinoza. Charlie wouldn't approve of you banning people, and you're banned. This isn't Charlie's channel. And how do you know what he would approve of? You're going against freedom of speech. Yeah, now you're banned.
Is Dr. David Wood having arguments with John 4, 5, 6, 7?
Yeah. Anyway, let me break it down for you. Free speech is government not stopping you from saying stuff. It doesn't mean if you're saying stupid, idiotic stuff over in the chat that I don't want to listen to and I don't want people on this channel exposed to, that I just let you blurt out your stupid nonsense. So better luck next time. Find another channel to watch.
The case with Charlie.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your wisdom. I'll share with you that I have received hundreds and hundreds of text messages saying that you should have been on that stage and you would have been if you could have.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I got to sit with you here today. Being with you today was really a great honor. And I know that many, many people wanted to hear from you. So it's a great pleasure to be here.
Being with you is an honor and a joy. You have really enabled PragerU to have the impact it has had.
Wow. David can't really tell how it feels because he's a psychopath, but that was very touching, man.
That was?
Yeah.
Oh.
I just checked what Charlie Kirk tweeted about Dennis Prager. The last thing that he actually posted about Dennis Prager on his Twitter profile on March 19th was so his last words about Dennis Prager were, "America is a better place when Dennis Prager is behind the mic." It's,
that's a pretty huge compliment to say. That's a pretty huge compliment, man.
So much respect. So much respect, man.
What is it?
Me too.
I'm trying to figure out if people are being mean or joking. Because if they're joking, I'll let them slide. If they're being jerks during some of this stuff, I'll just block them. Because this is not a time, guys. This is not a time. What were you just saying, AP? Oh, yeah, you were talking about his last post about Dennis Prager. It's like, seriously, it's like I realized when I was like, hey, let's go through some of what Dennis Prager says. Like every time I've ever listened to Dennis Prager, it's been like, wow, this guy is like just a massive source of wisdom. It's like, okay, well, why am I not listening to this guy a bunch? In other words, like we listen to a lot of toxic stuff that we respond to. Should be listening to some good stuff. Should be listening to some good, wholesome, edifying stuff here and there. You know what I mean?
Did you ever see Dennis Prager's fireside chats?
I think you mean FDR. He had the fireside chats.
No. So Dennis Prager would do this thing where he would just sit down with a cigar at his fireplace and like unscripted, no plan. He would just go for like 2 hours just giving people advice and talking about life. Here. Yeah, but his voice is really cool.
He does have a cool voice. Yeah, man, the dude. Yeah. I can guarantee everyone I'm going to be listening to some Dennis Prager talks here in the very near future.
I think he got hit with that classic thing that some people like. Unfortunately, it happens. The man presents like wisdom for people for years and years and years and starts a huge movement and coaches and educates people like Charlie Kirk. But then he had some maybe morally questionable things to say about a specific topic.
Yeah.
And so now he's like, to some people, he's like despicable. And let's forget about every good thing he's ever done.
Yep.
And let's forget about the fact that he basically led the conservative movement in the United States on a moral level also for years and years and years. This one thing that we think that he messed up on, we should judge him only by that and that alone.
And I've already seen it. What you're just talking about, I've already seen it in the chat. It was, he said the adult film industry was a net good or something like that. And it's like, well, why? So you disagree with him? I would disagree with him. But like,
he didn't even say that though.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's when people, I mean, we've seen it with Charlie, right? We've seen it with Charlie. Here's what he said. And you go to it and it's not what he said. But assuming it's what he said, why wouldn't you just think, oh, he's right and awesome and an awesome speaker about all these things. And he's wrong about that. And therefore we need to correct him on that instead of, well, that's when I realized that he's the devil himself. Wild stuff. Yep. And that is all a product of, basically, something we've talked about a bunch, and I've pointed out a million times about what goes on in society when everyone feels like they're being attacked all the time, that they click up into groups, and then they define their groups by being opposed to other groups, and then every group is like, to be the most important member of the group, you have to be further away from the other group, and then so it becomes more polarized. And this is part of, someone was just commenting, I didn't pull it up, but someone was commenting like, hey, there've always been conspiracy theories, but now it seems like it's like everyone's just becoming more obsessed with every conspiracy theory. Guys, once people polarize more and more, and you regard the group that you're opposed to as more and more evil, the further away from you they get, almost anything becomes believable about them because that's how evil they are. They're so evil. Like if they're close to you, if they're close, you have disagreements, but they're kind of close to you on a lot of issues. Then if someone says this person is doing this because of a sex cult where they're sacrificing kids and blah, 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 you think, what? You sound like an idiot. When you regard them as like supremely evil, because that's how far you've polarized, you believe anything. They're over there, they're drinking the blood of little babies. And you'd be like, oh my goodness, that's completely believable because they're so evil. And so, yep, it's all connected, guys, all connected. All right. So we're gonna watch some excerpts from longer interview that was done on the same day as that, and check out some interesting stuff from Dennis Prager, wise guy. Windstream, W-stream. Does that mean wood stream or wind stream? I'm sure you heard about this, but an LDS church in Michigan was attacked today. 10 people shot, at least 2 dead, and the building basically burned down with more people likely died in the fire. Yeah, last I saw, I only saw it earlier on, but they identified the guy as like an ex-Marine or something, and so Yeah, I don't know more details than what I saw like hours ago. But yeah, don't even
Right
know what
now,
that what.
4 dead and 8 others wounded.
Hmm. And so ex-Marine. Again, I know no details, so that could have been someone who had a mental problem or PTSD and snapped, or it could have been a guy who really hated Mormons, and I'm going to go deal with Mormons, or could have been a Mormon who got ticked off or left or something like that. But yet, I don't know anything about it, so I won't be able to provide any information until more stuff comes out and I actually check it. Richard Dawkins thoughtfully critiques transgenderism. Thoughts? President Trump proposes a 21-point plan for Mideast peace. Thoughts? How would I have any thoughts when I don't know anything about that?
I haven't really checked the peace plan yet, but I have to check it out. And then
a 21. Now, was this written or was this in a talk or something? Did he say, "Here's my 21-point plan," and he spoke it?
Both.
Then,
check.
Then we should probably check that out.
I gotta check.
And we'll explain where the plan is right and where it goes horribly wrong. Candace E. Owens started off on PragerU and then turned to radical anti-Semi. That's true. I watched Mike Winger yesterday for the first time. Base dude. D. Wood, relax. I'm still giving my money to you. Dude. Seriously, I already said this, right? If you're dealing with a genuinely evil person, are they just going to say, "Hey, look at me, I'm pure evil"? No. The guys who come across as pure evil or insane or something like that, those are the ones that are easy to spot. Those aren't the ones you have to worry about. The ones you have to worry about are the ones who are really evil, but they're like, "Hey, look at me, I'm a nice guy. Let's study the Bible." Those are the dangerous ones. Where is this Islamic version of the Torah and the Injil that talks about Muhammad? They don't have it. That's not our problem. That's theirs. That's true. And according to John Fontaine, you'll never have it because it disappeared. And so, but you should believe in Muhammad because in these texts that you don't have anymore, Muhammad was mentioned. What cigar brand is your favorite? I guess this is for you, Ash Mays. I named my daughter after Cavalier. Her name is Geneva. They're asking your favorite cigar brand.
Currently, I'm really liking AJ Fernandez.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorites too. I'm just kidding.
Pretty good and not too expensive either.
Charlie was amazing in dialogue, very leftophobic. He's very extremely leftophobic. Islam is the worst, by the way. You am married to a Muslim. Islam is the worst, by the way. You am married to a Muslim.
That's probably supposed to say I am married to a Muslim.
Oh, okay. Then you'd be the expert. Buy my book. Buy my book. Buy my book. John Fontaine. Oh yeah. I'm going to buy his book because it's going to be very helpful in explaining terrible responses to the Islamic dilemma. Matt Walsh got red pill on Islam. Check his ex. You mean his ex channel or like his ex something? Ex friend, ex wife, what? AP, check out Matt Walsh's X page on Islam or Ash, either one or both. Might be interested if.
I don't have any social media outside of YouTube for protecting my brain.
Matt Walsh.
That sucks. What you want to do is spend all day, every day on X. It will be very good for your psychological well-being. Please comment on how Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin, in which talking about how organ transplants could be key to immortality. Hey, did you wake up, Abu Bakr Al-Puff Daddy, and say, "Hey, let me do everything I can to change the topic today"? Is that what you did?
Yes.
That's what she said. David Wood, 2025. Yep. Just like Candace Owens came up with the line, "Blessed are the peacemakers," David Wood came up with, "That's what she said." True fact, Officer Barb Brady in South Park was based on Dennis Prager's voice and mannerisms. Is that? I'm not familiar with. I've seen some South Park over the years, but I'm not too familiar with. I don't know who. I'll check that out though. I want to see. What did you say, AP? Did you check it out? Did he say anything?
Matt Walsh made a few posts about Dearborn.
Oh.
About how the mayor is a Muslim, or the mayor is this, his opponent is this, all Muslims. it went viral, and people all over the world were like, "How dare you judge people by their religion?" And he's like, "Be quiet, man." So that's all I see.
I'm going to have to make a video about Dearborn, just going back and saying, here's all the stuff we told you 15 or 16 years ago, and you said we're completely nuts, and how dare we, and no, this is never going to happen, and everything we said is going to happen is happening. It's the same
We
thing
need
with
to
the
go
UK
to
and
Dearborn.
France and everything. What?
We need to go to Dearborn.
Pick a time, man.
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
going to read you his tweet. The mayor of Dearborn, Michigan is Abdullah Hamoud. The guy running against him in the mayoral race is Nagi Al-Mudegi. The mayor's chief of staff is Zainab A. Hussein. The police chief is Isa Shahin. He oversees the commander of the patrol division, Madhu Bazi. The public health director is Ali Arbazid. Don't forget city council members Kamal Al-Sawafi and Mustafa Hamoud. Question: is this what our founding fathers had in mind? That's a question that the residents of Dearborn can consider as they awake at 5:30 a.m. to the Muslim call to prayer, blasted over the loudspeakers by the local mosque. They can keep thinking about it as they get in their cars and drive to work down Osama Sublani Street. Is this America? If the entire country resembles Dearborn in 50 years, in what sense will America still exist? Wow.
And I will show everyone the stuff. I got all the receipts. I kept all the footage. I got all the videos we posted about how you need to pay attention to what's going on here in Dearborn, because they're coming up with creative ways to enforce Sharia. And everyone, oh, no, that's false. They're not enforcing Sharia. I was there. Everyone strawman it and said, oh, they're saying that they've made Sharia the law of the land. No, we're pointing out that they were coming up with creative ways to enforce Sharia. So one of the main ways we pointed out is for every year, used to be back in the day, every year they had the Dearborn Arab Festival, and you'd have Christians who would go there and hand out tracts and preach the gospel and so on. So Dearborn wanted to stop that, right? They wanted to stop Christians from handing out tracts to Muslims. So they wanted to stop that. How do you do it? How do you stop them? You can't just say Christians aren't allowed to hand out tracts to Muslims. You can't do that, right? It would be obvious that would be obviously enforcing Sharia. So what they did was they made it a law that during the Arab festival, no one can hand stuff out, right? So look, the law says no one's allowed to pass stuff out. So you see, we're not imposing Sharia. We're just saying no one can pass things out. Yeah, what happened? We walk down there, people are passing things out left and right. If you're a Christian, you hand someone a tract, then the police jump in. So what do? They come up with a rule and they act like they apply it, and they selectively apply it just in one case, Christians handing out tracts. So what is that? That's a creative way to stop Christians from being able to preach or evangelize Muslims, right? They stopped it. And when we just speaking about it, then they say, we're screaming at people and starting a riot, and therefore they had to arrest us. Never happened. We didn't do any of that. They just made it up to arrest us. So that's what would happen. It's, these guys over here preaching, talking to Muslim teenagers who came up to him. That's when we got arrested. It was a group of Muslim teenagers standing around Nabil as Nabil answered their questions about Christianity. And they came up and tossed us in jail and said we were starting a riot.
If you're going back to Detroit, since you're probably going to need it again, my brother-in-law is a defense attorney in Detroit,
yeah, nice.
And he's a good Jewish lawyer. That's what the kind that you need.
Yeah,
so I'll set it up for you.
Yeah, we'll bring him. We'll bring him with us. We'll bring him with us when we walk up in there. Yeah, that's the rough part. Says you have to go into. And by the way, when I was saying the other day that I had to tell people if anyone's coming along with us and anyone's going to be coming a camera, anyone's going to be recording with a camera. I just made a short list of rules that were the absolute essentials. So one, check the dot. I mean, make sure you're actually recording. That red dot. Sometimes we think we're recording and we're not. Check the dot, get the shot, guard the shot. It's because they're going to do everything. If you film them doing something, they're going to lie about you unless you have the video proof. And we saw that. If we hadn't been recording, we were doomed because they were saying we were doing all kinds of stuff. Fortunately, we made sure everything we were doing the entire time we were there was recorded. And that's the reason we were found not guilty. But they arrested us, they threw us in jail, and they tried to convict us. And the only thing that exonerates, because the police reports were all saying, and they were screaming at people and saying you're all going to hell, and a mob was forming, and it was gonna. None of that happened to be. You look at the actual footage and it was like, hey, great guys, these are great questions. I'm really glad we're having this discussion. And it's like, gosh, I mean, just imagine a city so corrupted because of an ideology that you literally have to be recording every single thing you do. Because if you were not recording for 1 second, they would say, oh yeah, that's when he did all this stuff that we're making up about him. It's like pure evil. And again, it's like police, it's the mayor, it was everyone lying. And it's like, what a sick, disgusting city. And we told everyone 15, 16 years ago, the direction this was all heading. Everyone, stop, you're just a bunch of Islamophobes. AP, how many times are we wrong when we're sitting here? Guys, look what's going on. Guess what this is going to be like 10 or 15 years from now? How often are we wrong?
Not very often.
That's right. 0% of the time we're wrong, ladies and gentlemen. 0%. We have a 100% accuracy rate when predicting what's going to be 15 or 20 years down the road. Oh, boy.
You know how it's kind of funny, but you know how there are some movies, I can't really think of a proper example right now. You probably can because you watch weird movies. But you know, there are these movies where people go to a specific town or a place in America, and the place is governed by completely messed up, weird people, and they get in trouble there, and they get caught there and can't escape anymore, and they have no way out because everything is ruled by those same people. Just imagine that, but now you have the real version of that, just with Islam in Dearborn.
It's pretty creepy. People in the chat asking, why would you want to go back? To expose it.
Don't go back to Muslim City. Nobody who goes to Muslim City comes back out.
Rick said it's no longer the Barbara Streisand effect. It's the Candace Owen effect for the conspiracy YouTube videos, clicks for cash bait. Islam or Candace, why think? Yeah, pretty much. Oh. Speaking of Winger is genocide. Oh, hi, Wingerling. Yeah, that's true. Oh, you said speaking of Winger is genocide. I thought you said speaking of Winger is genocide, which would actually make more sense. Logging into my favorite stream. What do Mike Winger and Candace Owens have for me today? Also love you, Ash. No homo, though. I love your beard. No homo, though. Quick question. Would AP ever do an updated German version of why he is an ex-Muslim video? Or do you think others are more fitting? Or did AP forget how to speak German?
I have not forgotten how to speak German. I don't have any such plans for now. Let's just leave it at that. Yep.
Oh, hey, check this out. Trump just published on Truth Social Charlie Kirk's video about Islam suffocating the West. This and Matt yesterday. Wow. Huh. I'm going to screenshot that as well. I want to check that out. Doesn't seem like Islam had anything to do with the attack on Charlie Kirk. You did have a lot of Muslims reacting and celebrating his death and so on. So just for that, it needs to cost them something. But yeah, if this is somehow, if people are catching on to Islam, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Oh, Dennis, a beautiful soul. Here we have Mosh. I'm a marksman, effective at 400 meters, not hard. I believe Mosh, everyone. And basically every gun guy I've heard from has said the exact same thing, that it's not a hard shot to make. So anything else you want to point out, that's one thing, but you basically sound stupid if you're like, oh my goodness, this had to be the world's greatest assassin. It's like, no. Let's see. 1 Thessalonians 4:13-18. Yes, we don't grieve like the rest of the world. Let me go ahead and read it.
Oh, he did. Jeez. What?
What?
He shared the video of Charlie Kirk from, we have to watch that, man. It's a 10-minute video. We have to watch that video.
I'm going to watch it tonight or do a separate stream on it, man.
In fact, he gave that speech, I think, after I talked with him. Wasn't that August 21, 2025? That's when he gave a speech, a 10-minute speech about we don't talk enough about Islam, and Islam is suffocating the West, and all that. Donald Trump just shared that speech without comment. He
Wow.
just shared the link to that.
Wow. Guys, that's huge. That's huge because Charlie already had the video and lots of people were paying attention to Charlie. But
Yeah.
wow. Crazy, crazy, crazy. These we're in times that really suck, but we're in times that are really awesome at the same time. It's really, really weird. So here we have 1 Thessalonians. But we do not want you to be uninformed, brothers, about those who are asleep, that you may not grieve as others do who have no hope. For since we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so, through Jesus, God will bring with him those who have fallen asleep. And you guys can continue the passage. That's 1 Thessalonians 4. Maybe she's a sociopath like the Dizzle, just playing. God bless you both. Yeah.
Candace Owens.
No, talking about Erica. As far as if someone's like, oh, she's not reacting appropriately. Well, God bless you all. Thank you. Almost through with these. Here, Muslim started I Love Muhammad campaign. Wait. Here, Muslim started I Love Muhammad campaign. Who started I Love Muhammad campaign? There's no such campaign. The Prager video is from longer 1-hour video where he discusses Islam in the West and says that Charlie kept Sabbath due to Prager 10 Commandments videos. Yeah, we're going to be looking at the longer one. Why Candace and Tucker are not talking about the decrease of Christianity in Dearborn. Yeah, when I was there just 15 years ago, it was like a 30% population. Now it's like 55. And back then they were struggling and couldn't figure out how to. They were complaining because they didn't have enough Muslim police officers because they were viewing it like Muslims were viewing it as like you're a traitor. You're working for the U.S. government. So they had this big campaign. How do we get more Muslims in the police department? And now they have Muslim majority police department. So what could go wrong there?
Sounds like Bethlehem.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Yep. Same thing. Matt's show. And what's amazing is you can see it with an entire country. You can see it with like Lebanon, which in the 20th century was a Christian majority country. Now it's not. Now it's Muslim majority country. But you see it in individual cities and people like they don't get it. 15 years ago, Dearborn was a Muslim minority city. Now it's a Muslim majority city. Don't think this can't happen. Anyway. Matt's show on Friday had a strong emphasis on Dearborn and so this is a show, not just a tweet, AP. Might have to check this out. He also spoke about Minnesota and the Somali fraud issues. Good watch. Wow. Interesting.
In 2020, 54.5% of the population reported Middle Eastern or North African ancestry. The most reported detailed ancestries were Lebanese, Yemeni, Arab, German, Irish, English, Polish, Iraqi, Italian, African American. Interesting.
Hey.
Interesting.
Hey.
What?
Have we talked about this before? Guys, hey, everyone out there. Do you know why Dearborn ended up with the biggest Arab population percentage-wise outside the Middle East? Do you guys know how they ended up with that massive Arab Muslim population?
Wasn't it because of worker thing?
For who?
Needing workers for Ford.
Henry Ford. Ford. He hated Jews. He understood he could get, he wanted to import cheap workers. And so he started bringing in tons of Muslims from the Middle East. Isn't that interesting?
I thought it's because they love harsh winters.
Yep. That's what was always crazy. Is like the Muslims I knew the Muslims I knew way back in the day couldn't stand cold weather. And then like you go up and it's like, that's one of the coldest places in the United States. But yep, it was Henry Ford. Is it me or the Muslim call to prayer sounds like a really bad case of diarrhea? It's a call to prayer in Durham, North Carolina, and hurts my ears.
It sounds like that's one heckler that was at the Benjamin Netanyahu speech yesterday. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah. Hey, I actually never posted that, AP. Remember when we were in Israel and I kept recording the Adhan to point out, hey, in this horribly oppressed area where Muslims are horribly oppressed, how come they get to blast the call to prayer over Jerusalem five times a day?
But Jews who live in the old city who play anything on a loudspeaker, like in response to that, or just doing anything like that, loud music, Jewish music in the old city, get arrested for disturbing the peace and all kinds of stuff. So in the same area, same building in some cases.
That's Israel for you.
Matt made a video about Dearborn. Interesting. It covered the mayor expelling a pastor from his city. Oh, if Matt wants to know about Dearborn, I could tell him a thing or two. APD would love you guys. My sister is being brainwashed by Candace. What should I do?
You can brainwash her instead.
Yeah. Be better at brainwashing. No, on a serious note, get an understanding of manipulation tactics and so on, and conspiracy theories, and be able to explain them to your sister.
And then manipulate
No, explain them to her, and that way she can see them when Candace is using them.
Oh, okay.
Is Islam even capable of reforming and ditching the insane aspects of Islam? From what I've seen and heard about it, I don't think it can. An individual Muslim can be the nicest person in the world and can ditch any insane aspects. As far as Islam, the ideology, Islam is just defined as submission, and you submit to Allah. This is in the Quran, Surah 4, verse 65. You submit to Allah by just mindlessly obeying Muhammad in everything. And so if you're saying, can it be reformed? If it's reformed, then it becomes not just mindlessly obeying everything Muhammad says. Guess what? It's no longer Islam. You're not submitting. You're not submitting. So, love you guys. AP and D-Wood have been my inspiration on defeating Islam. More fighters for Christianity through yours and the Lord's work. God bless. The Lamb Apologetics, but Lamb there stands for something. Mosh says, not true, D-Wood. Not true, D-Wood. The Muslim world has been flooding the Department of Education with billions of Benjamins. Their Muslim Brotherhood tactics works good. Works great. Yeah.
Hey, Mosh, let's meet up when I'm in Israel. I'm in Israel in October.
Hey, don't be getting Mosh in trouble and putting him in videos.
I will.
Unless he wants to, and then it's okay.
I will secretly record him.
Hey, look, next Donald Trump will post about Al-Zut. Hey, that's what we need. We need Trump sharing my Al-Zut video. That would be class. That's instant legend status. I generally do not like politicians. I've never voted in my life. Probably never will vote and stuff like that. But I'll say this. Donald Trump shares my Zut video. I will support him. Well, long time back, I searched Christians attacked by Muslims. Then I saw a video of this chubby white dude holding a cam attack in Arab festival in Michigan. Yeah, that was me. I was chubby. I was chubby for the 2009 video. I was less chubby in the 2010 video. I was like, I better get shredded because these guys are acting like they're gonna jump on us, and if they take a swing at Nabil or something, I'm gonna have to defend him. Major supermarket in my small city has started selling halal chicken. How do I protest without getting arrested? I am a third-party contractor there. I don't know what city you're in, but you're allowed to, if it's the United States, you're allowed to protest. So I don't know where you are if you wouldn't be allowed to protest.
This is America, man.
It's America. You're allowed to protest. You're allowed to protest.
It's a free country.
Orthodox Jews had connection in Turkish airport back from Uman for the holiday. What is this? Abuse them. Look like old photos from the 1930s. Look it up. What?
Somebody told me about that. I gotta check that out.
Turkish abuse them. Huh. That's interesting. It's not surprising. Guys, that's what globalize the Intifada means. It means making it everywhere. Just attack Jews wherever. D-Wood always makes fun of AP for saying that's funny, but messed up things. But then he says he hated Jews and then laughs. You don't know anything. Do you guys have a Discord? Not personally. New Islamic Dilemma, the book of Proverbs says think for yourself or suffer for yourself. Momo says obey with no resistance or you're not a Muslim. Yeah, you could use that for an Islamic dilemma. That's true. That's true. All right, everyone. Let's go ahead and check out some of this actual longer video interview. Dennis Prager, ladies and gentlemen. Dennis Prager.
Damn. Well, I just saw the clip.
Of what?
So,
of what?
at the Istanbul airport, they're Jews, visibly religious um, Jews, waiting there, sitting and reading scripture, and these Muslims who presumably come from some pilgrimage or something. I don't know. Are pushing them around, and then people are clapping it. People are clapping in support.
Yo, AP.
What?
Mosh has some good news here for you. Mosh says, when in October I'm on reserve duty in Hebron, I can ask my CO to get you there if you want. Maybe we can even show you around with a patrol. Let me know.
Ooh, I would love that. Yeah.
AP going around with like a patrol of IDF guards. Like, what? Yo, what's up?
We used to do that with like VIP people that would come through, like, I'll give them a tour of the place and take people around with one of the military patrols.
I'm invited to join some community in somewhere in the West Bank, near Bethlehem. But I would like to take that tour as well. There are some other things that I will be doing there, which I cannot share as of now. But I will happily take up that offer, Mosh. I'm in Israel, October 18th to October 30th. So contact me. Let's do it.
Yeah, I remember the video I wanted to record and no one was willing to go along, but I want to record a video titled, I spent a day in the world's largest open air prison. And it's in the West Bank at one of their 4-star hotels. And I'll just be eating a steak and getting massages all day in this, in the West Bank, and just post it. And it'd be like,
they have 5-star hotels. You can stay at a 5-star hotel.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I was going to get the nicest hotel and just be eating the most delicious steaks and everything 5-star all day. Be like, oh, this definitely reminded me of my time in prison.
They also had 4-star hotels and probably also 5-star hotels in Gaza, by the way, before the war. So.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Dennis Prager, first interview since he was paralyzed because of a spinal cord injury in November. Here he goes. And I'm not sure who this woman is, but he keeps praising her and saying that she's been massively helpful in getting stuff out for a long time. So not sure who she is, but she's got Dennis's stamp of approval, and he seems like a pretty darn good judge of character.
It's so good to be with you today. This is your first public appearance, and I just want to start by saying that for those who haven't seen you since your injury, you really look great. It's a miracle. It's a miracle to me that you're able to get back into things, into speaking, and that you completed your book. And for those who haven't seen you in many months, you know, you might look a little more slim, you might look a little different, but for those of us who have been following your recovery closely, this is amazing news. It's amazing news to have you back on and speaking. And so I'd love just your reaction, because we haven't heard from you. Now that it's your first public speaking moment, what do you have to share with us?
I have to say it, you know, you wish he wasn't injured, but there's something cool. There's something cool about being paralyzed and still, I mean, he just finished a book. That's what he's been doing. He wrote an entire book while paralyzed, and now speaking again while paralyzed. There's something super cool about that. I don't know.
Well, there's a long version, there's a longer version, and there's the longest version. There are very few short versions. It is a remarkable thing that I am on video and speaking. When you first saw me, I was not even speaking. I think the first 3 months when I was on full ventilator, meaning that it did all the breathing for me, no one can speak while on full vent. So I would point a laser beam at letters. I mean, it was...
Whoa.
I'm amazed I didn't go crazy.
You hear that? So, yeah, he's been improving. Full vent means it's pushing the air in and out. And so, yeah, he was saying he was Gosh, he was writing by pointing a laser pointer at letters. That's a lot of work.
Let me tell you a story. I don't know if you know this. I hope you don't. It'll keep your interest more. You know, I talk about everything with callers to my radio show. I don't remember how the subject came up, but about 15 or 20 years ago, some guy calls in and says he'd rather be dead than a quadriplegic.
Wow.
And a rare moment for me, I sort of yelled at a caller. And I said, you got to be kidding. You have your mind and you can speak, and you rather be dead because you can't move your limbs? And irony of ironies, my theory was tested. That's exactly my condition. And I'm thrilled to be alive. We are all our mind and our ability to communicate. Would I wish I could move my limbs? I dream about moving my limbs almost every night. Of course.
And he doesn't mean like I wish I could move. He means he dreams about it. In his dream, he talked. I've seen a couple of clips from this, but he talks about dreaming, or even thinking. Especially after he wakes up, he'll think I can move my hands and stuff like that, and then he finds out he can't, and so on. So,
of course, I would love it, but I'm alive, and I have my loved ones, and I have the public. And I think I could still make a difference. Wow. Would I rather be dead? It's inconceivable. Just, I love life. And I love so many people. And of course, I love my wife and my kids and my grandkids. I mean, you know. Now, I'll tell you one other interesting thing. I have a book on happiness. It's 26 years ago it was published by HarperCollins. Happiness is a serious problem. I would not change a word. That is how philosophically prepared I was for this terrible thing that I have encountered. I
just have to point out, if anything is a valid use of the word based, it was that right there. That would be the most valid use of the word based that I could imagine.
Very based.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have the same level of devotion to life still in that situation. Like that's pretty intense. I mean, it's got to be a big thing to have kids in that situation, right? Mm-hmm. To have a wife, right? That does obviously, I'm thinking about that, like having a wife and kids, that would be the thing driving that for me. But without that, I don't know that I would have the strength to feel, still, yeah, I'm happy to be alive in a situation like that. So that is pretty based.
Yeah. And I've had, we had 5 sons, and 2 of them had a rare muscle disease, but, have one passed away a couple years ago, but they're basically similar to that. One could sit up and stuff like this, and they would use their, they could use their arm. Basically, your muscles are really, really weak, so you could still move and stuff like that. So you're not a quadriplegic. You just have really, really weak muscles, so you can't lift anything heavy and can't stand and so on. But it gets worse over time. It gets worse. It's not a degenerative disease, but you basically get heavier and stuff like that. You get bigger and heavier, and your muscles don't get stronger and so on. So you basically end up to where you are basically like that. And one of the things I know is, and anyone can know this just by looking, is that everyone has to do everything for him at this point, as far as feeding him, bathing him, changing him, all those kinds of things and stuff like that. And so the remaining completely remaining happy in all this, and still trying to make a difference in the world. Pretty good.
What I wrote in there, like about expectations, and my motto, if nothing's horrific, life is terrific.
If nothing's horrific, life is terrific.
And I lived by that. I never thought that nothing horrific would happen to me. I always believed I might well be the other guy. Because people think it's always the other guy who gets into a terrible car accident or a skiing accident or a fall, which is what I had. I never thought that. So every day I said what I thought, how lucky I was. And that I was unlucky. And as I write in my Bible commentary, in the book of Numbers, the fourth book of the Bible and of the Torah, there is a commandment of God or of Moses, and it is that by lottery the tribes will be apportioned parts of the Holy Land by lottery.
I'm guessing he's going to go that some of the land was better than other parts, and it's being assigned by lottery, and so you might get by lottery the best, and you might not. I'm guessing. I don't know where he's going with that, but let's see.
So it's just the luck of the draw. And a lot of traditional Jewish commentators said God would decide where the lottery would fall. But these are great men, but I don't understand that view. God commands a lottery, and he'll decide what the lottery does. Then why don't he just tell them, Asher, you go here, Gad, you go here, Reuben, you go here. There is luck in life. And I had bad luck on November 12th, 2024. But I've had great luck virtually every day before that and every day since that.
Yeah.
And I don't expect God to intervene in everyone's life. It would render life meaningless. Then what was God supposed to do? Suspend the laws of gravity? I was philosophically prepared for a catastrophe. Anyway, people should read my happiness book.
I'm actually interested in his Bible commentary.
I think it's called the Rational Bible or something like that.
This is, I don't know. I never listened to Dennis Prager for that long, and this is it's kind of inspiring,
Yeah, so I mean, he seems like wise. I mean, think you have a horrible accident and you're a quadriplegic, And then you just went from being able to go around and do anything you want and speak and so on, and now you can't do any of that. Now you're basically left with your thoughts and then still communicating your thoughts. And his overall response is, I was lucky vast majority of my life. I was unlucky November 12th, 2024, and I've been lucky ever since then. Guys, when something really, really terrible happens, that is a good response to have. I've been lucky right up until then, and then I was unlucky, and now I'm lucky again. Good stuff.
So that's the answer to the question. Have I changed my mind in any way? I haven't.
Do you have any physical pain?
I have physical pain, not right this minute. It's sporadic, but it's constant. And it is primarily the top of my spine. And it's from the spinal cord injury. That's all I know. But with pain medicine and with a special ointment, which you can get over the counter, it's manageable.
How do you think your mind is functioning, given that you've been on medication and closed up in a room?
I don't know the answer to that.
That's what I was wondering. It's like, well, that would suck if very high up on your spine you have to be taking pain medication and so on, and because that seems like that could affect what you're able to do right now. But he's obviously very coherent, and he cranked out a book. So
I never had a great memory. And I would say this publicly, and people would laugh. You don't have a great memory? What are you talking about? Well, I had a great memory for concepts. That I did, but not for names or dates, as a general rule. So I don't know if it's any worse. I monitor it constantly. It's probably been somewhat affected. But listening to me now, you would have no sense of it.
Have you kept up with the news?
Oh my God. I have probably kept up with the news more than I did before the accident, because I listen to so many podcasts.
yeah, no distractions now as far as.
And I will tell you, there are many wonderful podcasts.
Say Candace
Like
Owens.
Apologetics Roadshow.
Yeah. Imagine if he was like, I mean, think of all the great podcasts. Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes,
David Wood.
Sneeko.
They'd be like, I'm starting to question that book.
Yeah.
Really learn a lot
Come on,
by watching them. The problem is,
say which ones, man.
they're all long.
That's true.
And given my schedule
Oh,
in my normal life,
that's interesting. Couldn't listen to long podcasts before, but now can listen to long podcasts. Interesting.
call it, I really wasn't able to listen nearly as much as I do now. Oh, so I'm totally up on the news.
What do you listen to?
There we go.
Mike
I mean,
Winger.
the specific podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the best podcasts,
Not in
man?
order of importance.
Mike Winger.
So, Douglas Murray,
Makes sense.
Ben Shapiro,
Makes sense.
Mike Winger.
Trigonometry,
That makes
That's
sense.
Konstantin Kissin.
Constantine Kissin.
Constantly kissing.
Yeah, they interviewed me.
Yep.
I'm on. They have a lot of views on that one. think 500,000 just on YouTube. They're very intelligent. The two of them. His sidekick Francis.
His sidekick Francis.
Oh, I watched a lot of Charlie Kirk. I was so impressed with how he dealt at length with students at universities at which he spoke who differed with him, and how respectful he was of them. The charge that he promoted hate is among the most vile of the many lies of the left.
And there's been some lies, but
he promoted respect. That's what he promoted. So I would watch a lot of his interactions. Talk about a memory.
Oh, that's interesting. So he's saying he doesn't have a good memory for details, but for concepts. But Charlie did have a good memory for details and so on. It is interesting sitting here watching this, because you listen, you know, Charlie Kirk said he would listen to Dennis Prager, and that's what he would listen to. So that was like the background of his education. And here you have Dennis Prager going, wow, I really love listening to Charlie Kirk. He's so knowledgeable and stuff in this. It's interesting.
He has a phenomenal memory. Or actually, I can't say had. I guess I haven't accepted that it's all a bad dream what happened to Charlie. We could talk about that later. I'm just trying to think about what else. Oh, Megyn Kelly. I watch her a lot.
Megyn Kelly. So that was the fourth. So the list was Douglas Murray, Ben Shapiro, Trigonometry, Megyn Kelly. So guys, you want to know what he listens to? There's your list.
And
if you're not sure which podcast to listen to, you obviously want to listen to our live streams. But
wait, he didn't finish the list yet. So I think 5 is going to be Mike Winger.
Dude, this is a serious topic. It's not a time for jokes.
I watch TBN. TBN has 2 IDF soldiers reporting on the news from the Middle East. To the best of my knowledge, they're Christians who are serving in the Israel Defense Forces. They don't make reference to that. But that's my suspicion, since TBN stands for Trinity Broadcast Network.
Okay, I was going to ask you that.
That's interesting. I got contacted by them. But
I did.
No.
I did too. I did too, but nothing ever came out of that. It's kind of funny.
That's on them. You guys dropped the ball.
Yep.
Yeah, but they never make reference to that either. But they're terrific reporting. And then there are just individual ones.
Candace?
I watch my son Aaron, who's going to be doing...
Yeah, his show is almost ready with Prager.
I'm really excited. And for the record,
Aaron,
I had nothing to do with your decision, PragerU's decision, to have him
Aaron
as a
Prager.
regular feature. I never mentioned him to you. And I was just thrilled, obviously.
Dang. I just looked up Aaron Prager, and yeah, he has a video from 5 days ago. It's only 13 minutes, but a video from 5 days ago with over 800,000 views, but it's on recovery from drug addiction. So I don't know if that's his story about recovery from drug addiction or if he's just talking about it or something like that. But a lot of people watching it. I'd be interested in seeing if the saying is true that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That maybe he'll be replacing his dad eventually.
But I played no role.
Well, you played a role in raising him, which is partially why he has such discernment and abilities. So I think you get some credit for some role you played.
No, that.
Oh, hey, actually, I think that's him because he had his own channel. He had his own channel called American Recovery with Aaron Prager. All right. So apparently he had an entire channel about recovering from drug addiction. As someone with several family members who died of overdoses, I would like people's experiences in recovery to become more common knowledge. And it would be good for people to work together, get together, help each other instead of being on their own. And that's a problem with addicts. They're embarrassed about being addicts. Like they don't want other people to know. And so they got to kind of keep everything to themselves. And then they OD and they die. When if they'd had help, then, maybe they wouldn't have died.
True.
Yeah, but on the operation side, that was us.
Right. But anyway, I will take credit for that. I raised him and his spectacular brother, David.
Based.
His older brother by 10 years.
He's talking about
I
you.
raised them both.
Base name.
In a very simple, with a very simple doctrine. I care more about your character than about your grades or about what college or if any college. Your character is everything. And it worked out, thank God. In Aaron's case, it was a challenge. He was, his late mother and I adopted him at the day he was born. But we did not know that his mother, his birth mother, was a meth addict.
Whoa.
Everybody should watch the fireside chat that I did with Aaron. They will be stunned at how open it was. I mean, I asked him questions that I remember thinking, whoa, you really want to go there? But as one caller once said, Dennis, I have one word to describe you. And I was worried. What is he going to come out with? And he said transparent. And that's true. One of the most common things people would say to me, at an airport, let's say, somewhere in America. Dennis, I feel like I know you. And my response always was, you do.
It's true.
Yeah.
Let's go into, I'd like to talk about Charlie Kirk.
We're going to check out this part about Charlie Kirk, and then we'll fast forward a bit to one section right in the middle, and then at the end, he actually talks about Islam.
He does?
Doesn't sound like a big fan. I assume since he's smart and has a lot of common sense, he wasn't going to jump on the, it's all the same bandwagon. And he didn't disappoint.
Why can't people just leave Islam alone, man? It's just Muslims just want to exist, just want to believe in their religion, just like anybody else, just like Christians, just like Jews. They just want to have, their faith.
What do you mean?
And
What do you mean? Just like Jews, according to Candace Owens, Jews are using Islam to scare everyone into distracting people away from focusing on what the Jews are doing.
that's true. Anyway, Islam sucks.
Oh yeah, that too.
Because you and Charlie were obviously very close. But there's something amazing about Charlie. Everybody feels like they were very close to Charlie, including people who've never met him. And there are a lot of people who are really impacted by the murder of Charlie Kirk. And you're very good always at giving perspective on a macro scale. What do you think the murder of Charlie Kirk will mean to America, possibly the world?
Charlie made it a thing to come visit me on a fairly regular basis. He would just show up.
That's crazy. I never visit anyone.
You'll love this story. I told it to Charlie on camera. One of the nurses, a male nurse, was a big fan of mine. But I think he was an even bigger fan of Charlie's. And so I said to him, well, Charlie's coming on, I don't know, Monday at 1. If you'd like to get a picture with him, just know I'm perfectly okay with it. I think it would be wonderful. Well, sure enough, he showed up and got a picture with Charlie. Can you imagine how valuable he thinks that picture is tragically now?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Anyway, I did think Charlie and I had something special. He dedicated his forthcoming book, which will tragically end up his last book, making the case for Shabbat observance for Gentiles, and especially for Christians. And he dedicating the book to me because he got the whole idea of Shabbat from me, which he acknowledges. We both spoke at Arizona State University, and his whole speech was on why people should observe Shabbat. And I mean Friday night to Saturday night.
Yeah.
He was not talking about Sunday. He was talking about the Torah Shabbat.
You'll need it recorded, otherwise Candace will accuse you of trying to appropriate Charlie Kirk for Judaism.
And I figure, wow, if all I did was influence Charlie Kirk, I've influenced millions. So that was a wonderful feeling. Anyway, he would go out of his way to visit me. But then I heard all these other people saying how close they were to Charlie. And I don't negate that at all. But what I said for an audio that I made for Erica, I told the story about Rabbi Joseph Telushkin, my friend since high school, most prolific author of Jewish books living today. He told me that he was moved at a funeral once. He would interview children and the wife of the deceased, anyone who would speak, so that he would know what to say with knowledge. And he discovered, because he talked to each of them individually, privately, he discovered that each one thought that while the dad loved all of them, they loved them the most.
I love it. That's
Isn't
great.
that great?
What a great ability to make people feel like you're their favorite.
That's right.
Or you could have the ability to make everyone think you hate them. You know what this reminds me of? Years ago, Marie was saying, Marie said, she said something about loving all the kids equally. And I was like, what? How? They're not the same. How would you love them all equally? And she goes, well, what? Who do you love best? And I go, that one. She goes, what? That's terrible. Anyway.
All are equal, but some are more equal than others.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to fast forward. I've got the link to the full interview in the description for anyone who wants to watch everything. Just wanted to fast forward to part two, him talking about anti-Semitism a bit and some of the stuff that's going on, and then we'll see what he says about Islam. Let me see. Kind of hard because this is a really long one to zoom in on everything. I'll just jump in right here. We'll see where this is.
Which is exactly what I do.
From the time that I spent with you and Charlie, it seems like you barely spoke about politics. It was always about
That's
morality.
correct. I don't recall us talking politics almost ever. That's right.
He would call you the moral giant, and he would call you because he would want clarity on how to do the moral thing. He was kind of obsessed with doing the moral thing.
Yeah, well, he was preoccupied with, to his great credit, with what you call the moral thing.
What's crazy is that people have accused Charlie Kirk and even the folks at Turning Point USA for being fascist and Nazis. It is so crazy. How do you describe a 31-year-old who is so focused, obsessed with doing the moral thing? He would fly out here to spend time with you to really gauge on how to make the moral decision, yet the left accuses this young man with the most ridiculous charges. What kind of impact does that have on our society?
The left cheapens words, the libels of Jews and non-Jews who defend Israel and of Israel. They equal the medieval libel, where we got the term from, the term libel from, when Jews were accused of slaughtering Christian children to use their blood to bake matzahs for Passover. Whole Jewish communities were killed and expelled.
You know what's interesting? It's the inconsistent skepticism. Like, you remember when Candace was talking about Mengele's experiments and stuff. She's like, that just sounds weird. Why would anyone do that? I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. So it sounds like propaganda. But she'll listen to any deranged conspiracy theory about Jews and just roll with it, just run with it on the flimsiest evidence. It reminds me of, like, she supposedly investigates Andrew Tate and declares him completely innocent of everything against him, and yet one person can accuse, if she's against someone, one person who ever said anything, even if it's massively discredited, becomes conclusive proof. And it's like, okay, if you got, look, Jews over here filming with a camcorder across the river. You see, this is proof that Israel's behind it. But I can't find any evidence against Andrew Tate. It's I don't know. This is weird, man.
Well, he's referencing the connection to the medieval blood libels, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the evidence then was a European villager finds the body of a child in a forest or in a well and comes as the hero to tell the authorities that it must be the Jews that did it. I don't know why the villager that found the body wasn't the first suspect, but you know.
Yeah, imagine that. If you and guys, this ties into what I was saying. If you become so polarized that the group that you're responding to is like pure evil, and anything, you wouldn't put anything can be attributed to that group because they're so evil. That allows anyone in your group to blame them for anything, and you get a pass because you're with this group, so you're a good guy, so you couldn't do anything. You wouldn't do anything like that. You couldn't kill a kid, anything. But we know who could. Someone in that group over there that's pure evil. And seems like, I mean, he just pointed out it's like what's going on now is like basically on the same level as that sort of thing. And I think he's right.
There were even other cases, like in France, where
Did you say France?
France, where Jews themselves reported that they found a body in next to their home in an alley, and then reported this to the police, basically. After which, the Jews were accused of having killed him. It's just there's just no way out, you know.
It generally coincided with somebody in the community owing a large amount of money to said Jews.
Yes. Yes.
That's messed up.
I'm pretty sure it happened with a king of England, like an actual, like the king at some point, I forget which one, incited a bunch of riots because he was in debt to a group of Jews who had funded some of his war efforts. I forget which king it was. It was like massive scandal.
That was the common thing. Borrow money from Jews,
And then
be unable to pay it back, then accuse them of something and take it force and just eradicate the debt. Very powerful.
So what you're saying is Candace Owens probably owes a bunch of money to some Jews.
Yes.
That would make sense.
Evil and absurd charge. The charge that Israel is committing genocide is equivalent in how big a lie it is. All that charge does is cheapen the word genocide. Anyway, I could go into that in
It's
detail.
what the left does. They use language and then they cheapen it, and it causes
That's
real
right.
damage, real death.
Like racist.
Yeah.
Like,
Same thing they did with Charlie Kirk, and I'm guessing he's going to point that out.
you know, they charge every conservative with being racist. Right. So therefore I'm a racist. Which is absurd.
Dennis, I'd love to get your feedback on how to think through this clearly, because there is a lot of confusion right now around the term anti-Semitism and Jew hatred. And so you have on one side of the equation Jews who may be overreacting, calling anybody, or there is an alleged claim that Jews are calling anybody an anti-Semite simply for not agreeing with them on policies regarding Bibi Netanyahu and Israel. And so, for example, Megyn Kelly and even Charlie Kirk felt that because they were asking questions about Israel, they were accused of being anti-Jew, even though they are as pro-Israel and pro-Jewish as it gets. And so the claim is that Jews are overreacting and oversensitive. And then with that said, there is on the other side of the equation, people who have realized that by accusing the Jew of virtually everything, including Charlie Kirk's murder at one point, there's that very much so growing on social media in particular, but frankly, even on podcasts. And so there's quite a bit of confusion and messiness around, for some reason, the chosen people continue to be in the eye of the storm every single time. And how do we not overreact as Jews? How do we think about this in a calm, cool, and rational way? How do we make sure that people like Megyn Kelly are not accused for something she's not guilty of? How do we make sure that somebody like Charlie Kirk is not accused for something he's not guilty of?
This is actually interesting because this is what Candace has been going on. The Jews were putting all kinds of pressure on Charlie and threatening him and so on. And here you have, they're sitting here thinking, hey, how do we avoid misrepresenting someone if they disagree with Israel? Or like, how do we make sure that they are not accused of being anti-Semitic or of hating Jews when they disagree? They're like, how do we protect people who want to disagree with us? It's interesting.
With
What's
that
crazy
said,
is there's
What's
a rabbi who's not very popular even amongst Orthodox Jews for the most part because he says very extreme things. Yosef Mizrahi. He's saying like his own psychotic things, but his attitude was that Charlie was such a good friend of the Jewish people that God had to kill him so he doesn't lead Jews astray.
Wow.
Because he's such a good person.
Yeah.
He's such a friend of the Jews. He's so good to Jews that he'll take all the Jews away from Judaism.
All the Jews are going to be like, we love him so much, we'll follow anything he says. And so, wow.
Exactly. Like that's how much Jewish people, like that even the extreme psycho end of it is going to say like, oh, he's our best friend.
Wow.
We hold accountable people who actually do increase fear and...
But by the way, this another interesting point there. They both just talked about how cheapening words, like you take a word like racist and then you apply it to people who aren't racist. It's just things you disagree with, and you kind of destroy the meaning of the word. And now there's no actual category for people who are actually racist because it's become a word that just means anything you don't like. And the same thing with genocide. Like, how do you actually describe a real genocide now when you could apply it to any war where bombs are being dropped and people are being killed? You can call that a genocide, even if the population is skyrocketing of the people who are supposedly being genocided. And then, but what she's doing right now is, hey, how do we avoid we can't apply the word anti-Semite to anyone who just happens to disagree with the Israeli government about something, because that would actually destroy the meaning of the word. And then what word do we have for people who are actually just hate Jews? And so it's like, hey, let's avoid destroying language the way other people do. It's actually good. It's a good idea to think about actually protecting language from people who want to destroy it.
Propagate anti-Semitism. How can we think about this clearly?
Okay. Let me begin by making clear there's no such thing as we. Jews are as divided on the political, philosophical, and moral spectrum as the general population is.
That's some of this was in the a shorter video that they put out that was specifically about Charlie Kirk and Megyn Kelly and responding to people who had called them anti-Semitic. And so some of this was in there, made an interesting point about referring to the Jews. He said there is no the Jews as far as doing things because they have extremely different views among them. But
that's just what the Jews want you to believe.
The Jews want you to believe that they have different views to trick you. Oh,
I have no control over what any other Jew thinks.
Oh, all Jews control the Jews.
The Jews who accused Charlie Kirk or Megyn Kelly of being anti-Semitic were
I have to be clear here. I haven't heard Jews calling them that.
I saw very few.
I've heard,
there was
I've
a
heard,
time.
yeah, I've heard other people saying it, but it's normally people who are like pro-Israel to the extent that you can't say anything critical because then you're helping Hamas. But when I saw that, it wasn't even from Jews. It was just from people who are extremely like pro-Israel. You're saying you have seen it, AP?
I've seen it from few Jews, and there was some there was like a big disagreement. So it was generally a minority, a few Jews who said that Charlie's being anti-Semitic or something, while most Jews were saying that this is not true and Charlie Kirk is our friend. So that's my observation.
Let's see what Dennis says.
fools.
And let me add, we have no idea who they are. I still don't know who these Jews are.
Oh, yeah.
Who are these Jews? Certainly not us.
Well, if you don't know, no one knows. And I mean that quite seriously. I knew I didn't know, but I also knew I may not be as up on these details, but they've never mentioned who it was. I'm not saying they don't know, but I've never heard who it is. And you haven't heard who it is, correct?
I don't know who they are, and I can certainly tell you, even if we found out their names, they don't represent me or you or many other people who share our great admiration of
There's no
Charlie.
such thing as representing all the Jews.
Yes, that's right.
It doesn't exist.
But that's how it works. That's how it goes.
Well-
If Bob does something bad, then it's Bob did something bad. If Ahmed does something bad, then it is Ahmed did something bad. If, however,
Mosh
Nathaniel does something bad, it is Jews did something bad. That's how it works.
It's like saying somebody represents all Americans.
Or all Christians.
Right, exactly.
So why do you think people tend to group the Jews as in the Jews?
That's right.
That seriously, that's something we keep like noticing over and over again. Like every rule we're ever told about distinguishing between a person and the group, every single rule that we're told by Muslims, by leftists, everyone, it suddenly flies out the window instantly with the Jews. And then all rules are off the table. And it's not even like, look what this Jew did here in the world today. It's here's what a rabbi 1,300 years ago said. Therefore, you see, Jews. That's Nick Fuentes right there. Nick Fuentes did that. I've seen Nick Fuentes do that repeatedly. Here's what a rabbi 1,300 years ago said. So that's what the Jewish manager of your bank believes, and that's what he's convinced about you. It's like completely deranged.
What's ironic there is also that they're being lumped into categories that just don't go together. So like Orthodox Jews will say like, yeah, if you were born a Jew, you're always a Jew, so on. But like ideologically, you probably have big differences from secular Jews. And people like Candace Owens are lumping into one category ultra-Orthodox Jews who use the Talmud, let's say, as a source material for further conversation to come to religious law. And she's lumping in those people with secular Jews who hate rabbis, who hate other Jews,
Exactly.
who think that Judaism, like religious Judaism, is despicable, and they're the furthest thing from Jews on ideology as far as religious ideology. And she's putting them in the same category as if they're the same people, and then saying these are, and none of them subscribe to any belief that she's ascribing to them.
Yeah,
And then she's putting them all in the same category.
And it's not just like lumping all of them together today. Again, it's throughout history, so that, a rabbi from 13, 14 centuries ago, that you can apply to all Jews. And then, but it goes all the way back to Jesus, right? That's why they call them Christ killers and stuff like that. Like, you are all responsible. You Jew today living in Tel Aviv, you are evil scum because of, what what the Jewish religious leaders did in the first century. And I don't know, there is something demonic about this, right? Like people can't, like you can't be this completely mental and deranged that you have this one rule that you understand, you know it your entire life. You were told every day of your life, don't blame all Muslims just because of what these Muslims do. And then you just instantly, rules go out the window with the Jews. Like I don't know. These are the times when there seems to be something spiritual at work because you can't be that irrational. You can't have that many people being that irrational in exactly the same way. It's weird.
I also have I got a Byzantine Catholic prayer book, and there's a prayer for one's enemies, and it like basically starts off, which is very important for me. I have trouble forgiving people, but it starts off basically, you Christ who forgave those who crucified you. And I think that's pretty much understood across the spectrum of Christian belief. And yet people professing to be Christians can't seem to get that through their heads.
Well, how are you claiming to be greater than Nick Fuentes, the real Pope?
This is just like, you see this with some people trying to claim the New Testament and trying to claim Christianity and then create anti-Semitism from it by, for example, deliberately misreading or unknowingly misreading, in some cases, maybe, I don't know, phrases such as that the Jews who killed Jesus and who killed the prophets and so on, which is a very specific reference where it references the Jews as opposed to the Gentiles, for example, where Gentiles at the moment do certain things to the people, such as the Jews did certain things to the people. But Groypers, for example, will like to pick that quote and say, look, even the Bible says the Jews collectively killed Jesus. And that they are
the Athenians didn't have prophets to stone to death. Only the Jews had prophets to kill.
I first had this whole thought when I was in Israel, and David, you probably remember this, but when we were there, and I was an atheist. I was a hardcore atheist up until that time, and that's when I started thinking there's something weird going on, man. There's something really, really strange, maybe demonic going on out here, of people having this very coordinated, irrational, brutal, completely undeserved hate toward Jews, when these people are fantastic, So I don't know, that's where everything started.
Hey, so that's actually interesting, because occasionally you see people who start believing in God because they start believing in something, in like genuine evil, like something demonic. And they're like, well, if there is this actual evil spiritual realm, then there is a spiritual realm, and the material world is not all there is. And then that kind of, they start. So it would be interesting if all the people hating on Jews and guys, just because so many of you are completely clueless, I'm talking to you Groypers and stuff like that. Let me be clear here. Not saying Jews don't do anything bad, or a Jew has never done anything wrong, or everything the Israeli government has ever done is perfect. And not saying any of that. Talking about, again, things how just basic rules that we apply in every other situation just go out the window with this one group. And it'll be so many different people from so many different backgrounds who do the exact same thing to this one group over and over and over again. And it looks like there's something spiritual at work there. But it would be an interesting, potentially positive outcome if you have a bunch of people who are kind of watching this go on, and you end up with a bunch of atheists and agnostics going, there is something spiritual going on in all this. Maybe I need to think through my beliefs a little more.
That's kind of why I want to invite people to visit Israel and to experience it for themselves, and then to comment about it again.
Hey, because you should start leading tour groups, man.
Yeah, I should.
Tour Israel with AP.
Because it was really, it's not an understate, it's not an overstatement, but I've been to many different countries. Been to many different countries in Europe, many some places in the Middle East, and all that. But Israel was really the place that I was most fascinated by, especially in terms of the people, because the people were fascinating and very cheerful, joyful, happy, very friendly, very nice, very distinct from every single place that I've been to. And after visiting more places after Israel, I still hold that opinion very, very much. And it was just incredible to see how these people get so much hate and so many conspiracy theories and such brutality, such lies against them all the time. This really led me to think this is, I mean, there might be some rational explanations to why Jews are being so targeted with hate, but even the rational explanations that they kind of stop working at some point. This is more than that. That's really what I thought. But yeah. Question to you, Ash. So you are Jewish originally, but you are now you're a Christian now. You go to liturgy.
Yeah, I grew up Chabad. I wasn't born in Israel, but I immigrated to Israel when I was on my own when I was younger, and I served in the IDF and all that. But yeah, I mean, it was a long process. Took me a number of years. Like I told David earlier, it took me a number of years from the time I first read the gospel till very recently becoming a believer. But once I understood that to be the truth, it was like, okay, I got to go to church now. So doing that.
But now that you are now that you believe in Christianity, do you still consider yourself Jewish in a sense?
I mean, not in a sense. I'm Jewish. I'm
Not according to Candace Owens, liar.
I'm ethnically Jewish. I mean,
Candace Owens says you had to pick, man. You got to pick.
my family are Orthodox Jews. My parents are still Orthodox Jews.
Excuse me, you can't be
Most of my
Jewish and a
friends.
Christian. You have to be a Christian.
Candace Owens defines Christianity and Judaism. No one else.
But now that you are a Christian, do you fully believing that Christianity is true? Do you consider Judaism, rabbinic Judaism, as something evil or worthy of contempt or hate or something like that?
No, I make videos explaining why I think that Orthodox Judaism, like I say rabbinic Judaism, but it's just Judaism. But I make videos explaining why I understand that to be false and why the claims are false and why Christianity is true. But it's totally reasonable for Jewish people to have belief in Judaism. And there's nothing inherently wrong with Judaism. In fact, I'd argue the opposite. I think there is a lot of worse things to be than an Orthodox Jew. Orthodox Judaism leads to a life of meaning, and people find meaning and purpose in it. It leads to a life of virtue for most people that observe it seriously. I think it's incorrect theologically. I think it's incorrect philosophically, but I don't think it's a bad thing. And I hope that if a Jewish person is not becoming a Christian, that they remain an Orthodox Jew for pragmatic reasons.
Fantastic. See, why not just act like this? So here we have an honest person. You could end up being completely a Jew hater for the clout, for the money, for whatever it is. I mean, there really is a market for that right now. I don't want to give you ideas here, but but you could do this, and this would be the truth. I myself would say I cannot say that Judaism is correct theologically or that it is true. I have, however, a lot of respect for it, and I think that I see a lot of goodness in Jews practicing Judaism. I love it. I would still consider Christianity the ultimate truth, but that is just the way it is. There's nothing uniquely evil or uniquely bad about it. In fact, it is probably one of the much better ways to live.
I think even though I think that Judaism is wrong theologically, like I said, I think it is uniquely good in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I'll stand by that, and I'm not going to sell anyone out. Like that's the reality of the situation.
Alhamdulillah.
Hey, Ash, you messaged me and said you'd like to do a live stream sometime about the Talmud and discussing that.
Yeah, we could do that.
That would be interesting. Yeah, a lot of people A lot of like the Groyper mentality and online orthobros. Sorry, AP, but I'm not sorry. They all just think of it as like it's a collection of commands that all Jews believe in and stuff like this, and then they'll pick things out. Anyway, it'd be good to actually go through.
I was thinking of doing like a video, or even if it's the stream with you, you should label it something like the most evil verse in the Talmud ... that isn't there.
Yeah. Libra David, that was my favorite passage that's not in there.
You know what you should do, Ash? You should make a video, something like, I mean, you can think about how exactly to frame that, but this would be, people would flock to it. I was a Jew. I was
a Jew. Then this happened.
Here is the truth about the Talmud.
There you go.
Like that. This is stuff that people really look for, and then you can explain what the Talmud actually is to all these confused people.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Get like clickbait them into their rage video, and then explain what's actually happening.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And AP, as far as like seeing that there's something weird about people's like fixation and how all rules go out the window and stuff like that when we're talking about Jews. That's actually what I said when Stefan, that's Visegrad, everyone, when Stefan interviewed me in Tel Aviv, and he was like, why are you, a Christian, actually opposing the people who are saying these things and this and that? And I gave a list of reasons, and it's like, well, I mean, at the end of the day, it is a pretty good point that Jews need a place where they can actually go when things go terribly wrong in some country. You just can't, given how quickly people can flip a switch and just, nope, we got to get rid of these guys. Kind of makes sense that there needs to be a place where Jews can go where they do not depend on other people for their safety and so on. So I was pointing out things like that, and I give a bunch of points, and I go, but then at the end of the day, it just seems like there's something demonic going on with the hatred. And even if I didn't know anything else, I said it could be anything, right? If you had a bunch of demons, and I saw all these demons were going after a squirrel, and they were obsessed with attacking the squirrel, I would just have an inclination to protect that squirrel. Like, I don't know what's going on here, but I know these guys are evil and they're ganging up on this, and that makes me want to find out what's going on and protect whatever they're going after. But it's the same with anything else. When you see like Muslims and communists and also all sorts of things aligning, it can be on anything. And they're attacking something. I'm like, wait, why are all these people who have completely different views all uniting against that? What's going on here?
I understand, but Stefan probably asked you like this. So why are you, a Christian, so bothered with what people say about Jews?
That's not what happened at all. Is that how he acts when he's recording you?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah. He knows I wouldn't stand for that. Let's check out a little more of this here. Well, yeah, he's cool. He's cool. That's the other thing. Lots of cool people are emerging in all this.
Yeah.
If someone says the Jews,
here we go.
It usually means that they're no friend of the Jews. It's like people, real racists, not figurative racists, who say the blacks. But nobody says the blacks, because blacks are divided, as they should be. Say any group. The Americans, does anybody say that?
To group, I mean, the irony behind all of this is to group the Jews into one group. It is impossible to get Jews to agree on anything. On anything. There is that joke, 2 Jews, 3 opinions.
Well, there's a better joke. A Jew was stranded where his ship goes down. He's the only survivor. He's on an island alone. He's finally rescued. And there were 2 buildings. 2 synagogues he's built. So they say to him, "You're one Jew, why did you build 2 synagogues?" He said, "This is the one I attend, and this is the one I would never set foot in."
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
I see you nodding, Ash.
Yeah, that's true. There's shul drama, you know.
this goes so way back. Even within American history, you had Chaim Solomon, who was one of the main funders.
1 second. Pyro says, please wish me a happy birthday. Happy birthday to Pyro. Happy birthday to Pyro. Happy birthday, dear Pyro. Happy birthday to you. There you go.
But here's how we actually do it.
And what's funny is you'd have some dumb American going, "Oh, it's such a beautiful sound. Oh, your religion must be true because of that awesome sound."
Of the Revolutionary War, right? He funded the Continental Army, and you had Jews who fought on both sides of every single war.
Yes.
Yet people love to just say the Jews. The moment there is one Jew or two Jews or even 5 Jews who do bad thing, suddenly it's attributed to all Jews. And clearly,
we were just talking about this.
It's a pattern that ultimately leads to Jew hatred.
My book with Joseph Telushkin, Why the Jews, the 3rd edition was just published. It was first published
I want to check that out.
in 1974.
Whoa, that's before I was born.
And again, everything we wrote has come true. It's been validated.
So, Dennis, but what's your comment about people who are accusing Megyn Kelly, let's say, or have accused Charlie Kirk of turning on Israel or being anti-Semitic, or maybe even not anti-Semitic, but turning against the Jews?
If you think Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk have been anti-Semitic, you're out of your mind. You are charitably, you're paranoid. And Jews have a right to some degree of paranoia, given what's happened to us. But I don't excuse it. These have been 2 of the most outspoken pro-Israel voices. They are allowed to differ with the Israeli government. Half of Israel disagrees with the Israeli government, including the vast majority whose children go into the Israel Defense Forces.
What?
Is this the same Telushkin that he's talking about?
Why'd you get all quiet?
Is this the same Telushkin that he's talking about?
How would I know?
Rabbi Telushkin? It sounded so familiar the entire time, and then I realized, wait a minute, I have this book. I read this entire book.
You didn't read that. You didn't read that giant book, man. I've never seen you actually read one page of one book, but you have all these books.
Well, I have to say that I read it. I don't actually read it. Just don't rat me out, man. Interesting.
I have watched both of them in their outspoken defenses of Israel, which unfortunately takes some courage today on the right.
Yes.
There are a lot of voices that are anti-Israel.
Yes.
There were voices on the right that were anti-Semitic
Yes.
in William Buckley's time. And he, to his great courageous credit, publicly rebuked them. It was a very powerful moment.
Based. It's what they call
It took a lot of courage. Courage is the rarest of the good human traits, as I always point out. There are a lot of good people, but there are very few courageous good people. I would only say to Megan and Charlie, in fact, I had every desire to call Charlie to talk to him about this. You can't say the Jews anything. George Soros is a Jew, and Benjamin Netanyahu is a Jew. Do they have anything in common?
Just that they're
nothing.
Jews.
Absolutely
you shouldn't ask
nothing.
this question to Groypers.
Yeah, of course, they're the exact same thing.
One is on the right and one is on the left, and therefore they have nothing in common. The Hitler and the Nazis would say Jews were the inventors of communism.
Oh, Candace would say that too. And so would Daniel Hakikachu.
And Stalin would say that the Jews were the inventors of capitalism. So you can't both be right.
Stalin.
This is what... You can't say the Jews anything. You can't say the any group. The Americans, the whites, the blacks.
That's not true. You can say the Groypers are evil scum.
It doesn't work.
I know you said...
All right. So again, got the link in the description for anyone who wants to watch the rest of it. We'll watch just a little. We'll take a couple of super chats and then we'll watch this little section at the very end where he talks about Islam and shares his insights. Because I was wondering what he thought. Because I've never heard him talk about Islam. So I was wondering what he thought about that.
By the way, just on the Soros Netanyahu thing, I mean, literally polar opposites. George Soros sold other Jews to the Nazis. Benjamin Netanyahu risked his life to save other Jews in life-threatening operations, right? So literally polar opposites. And then on the communism thing, there's a famous figure in Jewish history, the guy who was nicknamed Subota, which means the Sabbath in Russian, because he refused to work on the Sabbath and was basically exiled to a work camp in Siberia for it. Like, one of the groups heavily oppressed by the Soviet Union was Orthodox believing Jews. So the claim that the Jews are responsible for it, so again, lumping people together in categories that just don't fit.
Weird stuff. Hey, Diddy, how are you? I don't know who you calling Diddy. Everyone, go tag Trump in the Al Zut video now.
Do you think Candace would pronounce it Al Zut?
Yeah.
Probably.
Lol, Ash, I'm talking about a low-cost version of it. Oh, when you were saying taking someone VIP. Yeah. And awesome. I'll start asking tomorrow and update you. So you got it there. Mosh Cohen is on the job. The KKK way back had an internal Bible booklet they called the Clan plus Quran, because then they thought Islam cool because of the shared hate for Jews and blacks. Yeah, I did a video back in the day where we included, I actually have a copy of the Quran. It's like their manual, and they just loved doing little weird puns like that.
Why do you have it?
Because everyone has to have that book. And now D Wood thinks being paralyzed is cool, smacking my head. What is this psychopathic channel? Yeah, I know. That's true. Gad Sad said that him not keeping kosher doesn't mean he's practicing a more peaceful version is Judaism. Same goes for Muslims and Islam. Hey, this is from Mrs. Apostate. You men were made for times like these. That's what we're here for. She means based men. Still no answers why Jews build tunnels under New York City. Don't we know exactly why that was? I'm going to assume this is a joke.
Yeah, we knew what that was about the day that it came out, but of course everyone missed the actual reports. So,
much love, guys. Wish YouTube didn't take portions of these super chats. Yeah, evil YouTube must be run by the Jews, sending all their money to the IDF and Mossad. Prager is one most amazing teachers I've listened to. Yeah, that's why I am going to listen to some more Dennis Prager. His Bible commentary is on the first 5 books, Genesis through Deuteronomy. Does anyone know if he finished it? I mean, finish the entire Bible? Or
I don't think he finished it.
Or like
even the
continued
5
after
books.
that? Wait, you're saying he didn't finish going through the 5 books?
I don't believe, unless I missed it, but I don't think he finished.
Aaron is adopted from Hero in Addicted Mother. Yeah, he mentioned that. Ash looks disappointed with this experience. Quit being so disappointed, man. I know you thought...
I responded to that. I told him I just don't like to smile. I avoid it if possible.
Yeah, guys, I mean, it's been built up in his mind so long that the greatest day of his life would be the day that he gets to join AP and D Wood in a live stream. And then he's like, what? This is it? This is it? We just sit here and watch something and toss in random comments?
I can't be disappointed. My wife brought me a cold beer while we're doing this. So
Nice.
Beer is haram. I probably watch most fireside chats. How many are there? Are there a bunch of them?
I think like 300 or something.
Are you joking?
No.
Whoa. He learned Russian to help Jews in the USSR. It shows his love for truth and freedom, praying that he finds Jesus Christ. Interesting. AP, an idea for your German video on leaving Islam. Ich habe den Islam verlassen, weil ich keinen Bock mehr auf den Mist hatte. Hope that helps.
I will take the advice. Thank you.
Yeah, what's awesome is my spot-on German accent. Like, if a German heard that, they'd be like, who is this? He's the most eloquent German ever. Catholic YouTube channel PaxTube with large following posting Groyper lies about Israel, saying Epstein is a Mossad agent. Check out if interested. We have to listen to what this channel says because they have a picture of AP. Candace is narcissist, attracted to power. Tate is popular. She wants to be close to it. By the way, Haim Solomon, Jew funded the American Revolution, died poor. You see the
Nice.
Jews. I might not be online enough, but I have not seen any prominent voices call Megyn Kelly or Charlie Kirk anti-Semitic. They are mostly critical of the not pushing back on Tucker Carlson.
Yeah. That is the one thing that people did take issue with Charlie Kirk, that he continued to allow Tucker Carlson to speak at the Turning Point events, and I also had mixed feelings about that. I still do. That said, I still think that I never really thought that they should take him off. I do think, however, that he should be more challenged. Although he's quite challenged, but I would say that he needs to be more challenged by other people attending the events. But some people were saying that Charlie Kirk should take Tucker Carlson off the platform, and he never did that. And he said, "I won't be bullied into doing things like that." So
yeah, I can respect the just because a bunch of you are complaining and trying to pressure me into doing something doesn't mean I'm going to do it. In fact, it makes me want to do the opposite. You guys nagging me, don't nag me into doing stuff. It makes me want to do the opposite. So I get that. I also get the if you're like a free speech absolutist and it's, hey, we're not gonna shut this guy down for disagreeing with us on this stuff. I totally get that. With all of that said, I'd be on if I were controlling events, I would not want Tucker, because I'm looking at the trajectory, right? I'm like, okay, here's how he was in 2018. Here's how he was in 2020. Here's how he was in 2022. Here's how he was in 2024. Here's how he is now. He's getting worse and worse. And I look at the trajectory and it's like, if we are propping him up now and he's going further and further and into like Candiceville, I wouldn't want to be part. I wouldn't want to be part of keeping him relevant and popular if he's going off the deep end. And so I wouldn't want him. I wouldn't want to be associated with him. Let's see. Two Jews, three opinions. The most constant thing on us. Yes, you see. It shows how evil you are. You all have 1.5 opinions. Thank you guys for always opening our eyes to these issues. Genuine hatred for Jews is increasing on the Christian front. It's disheartening. Yeah, it's bad. And it's weird because you keep seeing it and it pops up, and every time you go on X or anywhere else, it's in your face constantly. And so you say something in response, and then they'll go, "Oh my goodness, why are you licking the balls of Bibi Netanyahu?" Blah blah blah. But it's interesting. It's sort of a Charlie Kirk thing, right? It's sort of a Charlie Kirk thing where when they're like, they're trying to manipulate you into shutting up, it makes me want to say more stuff, right? It makes me not want to back down. Anyway, so gird up your loins, groypers. We're not backing down for you sniveling dorks. AP's new tour business, Apostolic Pilgrimages.
That's good.
Please do a collaboration with Tovia Singer. He'd do it. What? Why would he do it? And why?
I don't think Tovia Singer would do a collaboration. Ash, did you ever have an interaction with him?
Were you his biggest fan?
So before, so when I first got exposed to Christianity, I was very interested right away. But then I found on my own all these kinds of issues and contradictions and blah 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 blah, all the normal, already debunked claims. I actually had an interview with him. I interviewed him way back. The conversation was one of the things that pushed me further in the direction of Christianity, because he was so disingenuous, so snake-like. I'm sitting there like, I have really good friends who are Christians, who are in all different kinds of denominations too, Catholics, Messianic Jews, evangelicals, and he's sitting there telling me like the only reason anyone who's Jewish ever becomes a Christian is because they have self-esteem issues or a drug addiction or some kind of problem. And I'm thinking that doesn't describe any of my friends or myself who's discerning this. So that's incredibly disingenuous. And yeah, the more I looked into him, the more I realized what a snake he is.
Yeah, he's
even other anti-missionary rabbis called him out for distorting Jewish traditions as polemics against Christians.
I have listened to a lot of rabbis, and I personally, I don't know, I can't speak with much authority, but I would say from my perspective, I would consider him a terrible representation of a rabbi, and I also think that he's very harmful, and especially harmful to Jews in a way that angers me a lot, which is that what he does is sucking up to Muslims and doing this whole thing of like downplaying Islam and being like, "Oh yeah, we Muslims are our brothers. We have so much in common."
He said in an interview with the Orthodox, he did an interview with the Orthodox Lips Muslim, where he said, we agree on this, the beautiful Tawheed that Jews love so much. And I'm like, do you know anything? Like, he does know better. And he's saying it anyways, because for whatever reason, also, I don't know if he still has his organization in, I think it's in Indonesia, where he has like a Jewish organization. I don't know if he still has that or not, but if that's the case, he's definitely has to be careful about what he says about Islam. So he's like, that's problematic for him if that is the case. So, I mean, we all know what the justification for it is.
It's one thing not to say anything about Islam. It's another thing to be to go on Orthodox Lips and other places and be like and praise Islam, and tell Jews who are watching him that Islam is completely cool and loving and nothing to do with the whole terrorism thing and all that. I mean, what does this do except blind Jews against this big danger that is threatening them all the time? It's just it's a terrible move. And he has an obsession with Christianity and actually considers it worse than Islam, which is really messed up, man. I don't know. There are some some Christians who have this very anti-Jewish aspect, and then there are some rabbis or some Jews like him who have this very anti-Christian aspect and then make compromises with Muslims. They are very much the same to me.
Yeah, it has the same vibe as like Muslims aligning with LGBTQ community or something like that. It's we hate these other guys so much that we will even align with each other on this. And it's like, seriously? You want to align with the guys whose ultimate goal for the end times is completely exterminating all of you? That's who you want to align with because you don't want you're worried about Jews believing in Jesus as the Messiah? Kind of weird stuff, man.
Messed up. I mean, I offered to talk to him in the past, and he rejected twice. Once explicitly in a way that I just found very morally questionable, and the second time just through silence. So.
Benico said, "That's funny, AP. You can say the Jews led you to Christ. Romans 11:11 says their stumbling brought salvation to Gentiles."
I do think about that quite often, and I also brought that up in some interviews when people ask me about my path to Christianity, that it was actually the Jews with whom my atheism started, shaking, and my path led toward believing. It wasn't the Christians, it was the Jews first, just as the Bible says, first the Jews. It's funny.
Let's see. Never really understood the extreme global hate even when I was a Muslim. Dwap.
Yeah, that's the thing. For Muslims to have so much hate against Jews is one thing, because it's directly in Islam. Mm-hmm. It's directly in the Islamic sources. It's directly in the Quran. It's directly in what Muhammad said. But for others to also jump in and to engage in that and to do that, it's really, really, really messed up.
Something really, really weird about it.
Really, really weird.
Dwap, that's D1AP. Consider now the short video I posted on last night. Apostles Paul's life was a warning. Do you see it? Lake Point Church, this is a good episode for it. Prediction, AP will say, powerful, powerful. Yeah, I told AP yesterday because I went ahead, after you recommended it, I went ahead and watched it. And I said, indeed, it was powerful. I suggested AP watch it. He refused. But I'm in control here. So yes, we will, I'll take these super chats. We'll watch the short little bit at the end where he comments on Islam and the spread of Islam and ideas about Christians and Muslims worshiping the same God and so on. So he comments on that. And then after that, we'll watch that short because it's a short little video, but yes, indeed, very powerful, powerful stuff, which is why AP is going to go powerful, powerful. You guys scare my cats away every time you do your Islamic happy birthday song. That's what it does. Also, AP enjoyed my birthday at Tommy's rally. Based birthday. Remember that?
Nice.
Based.
Very nice.
Went to Greek liturgy. A blessing of newborns happened. Was sweet, very sweet. Felt out of place because we're Hispanic. They were very nice, though. Included us at lunch after. Does culture matter? One older man said no.
Well, culture is much more pronounced in the Orthodox Church than in the Catholic Church, for example, and it is also how the Orthodox Church very much developed, which is why you will have Greek churches celebrating in very Greek ways and also doing a lot of Greek cultural stuff, and Romanian churches doing the same thing in Romanian and so on. But especially in countries where you have now a lot of converts, things go quite differently. I mean, I go to a Greek church where most of the congregation consists of converts, not of Greek people, and everybody fits in. So it might seem a little bit odd at first, but it works very well. David knows it too.
It's weird because it became like Greek supremacist ideology.
Well, Greek is supreme. So
let's all say a prayer for Dennis's conversion. It's a good idea. Everyone talks about the Garka tree, but they should really look for the Gurkha trees. Those don't play nice. I don't know. Garka tree will beat all other trees up. Candace Owens might leave YouTube if she finds out the Jews are getting a cut of super chats. D1 and AP are the shizzle.
Hey, we should tell her that.
That's true. We should. We'll start up the rumor. Hey, we should start up the rumor and spread it somehow that the Jews are taking part of every super chat on YouTube and watch everyone head over to Rumble or something. Hey, family, just giving greetings and salutations. Hey, what's up, Issa? Issa's recovering from a terrible broken leg. Please send some prayers my way. Things are getting hard. God bless you too. Oh, yeah, things are getting hard and they're going to get harder.
God bless you.
All right, so let's check out what Dennis says about the spread of Islam.
Good intentions are not the route to goodness. Wisdom is. We're in trouble. We send our kids to universities, and especially prestigious universities, where they are taught by teachers with no wisdom. Hence moral confusion. And you can have any number of students and professors marching on behalf of what is literally today's Nazis, the organization called Hamas. That's really something.
Do you think a return to religion? What is that? What does a return to religion in America look like?
That's a very good question. I don't care how it manifests itself, as long as it's God-based.
Islam?
That's it. Said, I don't care as long as it's God-based. She said, Islam?
That was a good question.
And it's good because otherwise people would have been wondering, oh, okay, so anything. So Islam, it's all fine. It's all God-based, right? Let's see what he has to say.
I wasn't finished. God-based, specifically the God of the Bible.
Oh, and our Muslim, you got some Muslims are going to say, oh, but it's the same God. Not according to John Fontaine.
Yes.
Not according to John Fontaine.
Good.
That is not the same God.
You hear this? Not the same God.
As in
Cameron Bertuzzi's going to lose his mind over this one. What? I will make a 17-part series responding to this lie. And I will get Trent Doherty to come in here and destroy this. All right, here we go.
Islam.
Wait, what do you say?
It's not
Let's just go ahead and hear this part again anyway.
Good question. I don't care how it manifests itself, as long as it's God-based.
Islam?
I wasn't finished.
I said God-based, not demon and pedophile prophet-based. That would have been funny if you said that. Anyway.
God-based, specifically the God of the Bible. That is not the same God as in Islam.
Yes.
Not an attack. It's just a fact.
Yes.
That's why we speak of Judeo-Christian values. We don't speak about Judeo-Islamic values.
Can you talk about Islam in the West? Charlie talked a lot about Islam in the West this past summer.
Look, there are many wonderful individual Muslims, but that's not the point. Nobody denies that. The conflict between certainly Middle East Islam and the West is very, very clear. And I wrote about it years ago. It's on the internet. When Angela Merkel decided to open Germany to 1 million Muslims from the Middle East. And I said on the radio, why would we bring in people who hate our values to live in our societies? I was unfortunately 100% right. What did I just hear on one podcast? A third of British Muslims, I think this is what I heard. A third of British Muslims want Britain ruled by Sharia law.
As it should be.
That's scary.
Well, to be fair, apparently all British leaders want Great Britain to be run by Sharia law, so you can't blame the Muslims.
It's a Muslim country. What else do you want?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Those are the ones who admit it.
Oh, I said those are the ones who admit it. That's good.
Is a very big problem. It might be a completely destructive problem. This is the biggest challenge to Western values since the Enlightenment.
Any final words before we tune in to the memorial of Charlie Kirk as we sit here today?
I have a lot of final words.
I'm sure everybody would like to hear every one of your final words.
No, thank you. Without courage, we have no chance of
Without courage, we have no chance.
having the West survive. Number two, the West is built on Judeo-Christian values, on the Creator being the source of unalienable rights. When that is negated, it is the end of the West. Margaret Thatcher said that. We are based on Judeo-Christian values, she said. When that basis is removed, the edifice comes crumbling down. And it might come crumbling down like the Tower of Babel. When they all spoke one language. They all speak English. They all speak Brussels. We may come crumbling down. Fourth, one of the leading editors at HarperCollins, one of the most prestigious publishing houses still remaining, said that this book is the best book about God of this century.
He's talking about his book.
He was referring to my forthcoming book.
Huh.
If there is no God, ... The battle over who defines good and evil. It's all the challenges against those of us who believe in Judeo-Christian ethics. I hope that people will order it. If there is no God, it's eminently readable. And I finished it while in this condition. That's how committed I was to getting it out.
I just looked it up, everyone. It's available February 24th of 2026. So this will be available in 2026, February 24th.
We have to fight. Goodness without courage leads to nothing. I'm sorry to say. Anyway, I'm almost close to saying God intervened, sending you into my life. But I don't know when God intervenes. But it would seem that way. God bless you, Marissa. I don't know where we'd be without you. And God bless all of you who have written to me. I've tried to hear as many of the cards and letters and emails as possible, but it's not yet been possible because the number is so large. It means a lot to me. Thank you all.
If it's up to me, these are not your final words. We're going to do it again. Agree?
Agreed.
Wow. No,
Pretty cool guy,
you might
man.
You might not understand how touching that is because you're a psychopath, but that was really good. You know.
Wait, what would you say? Because that would just be like based, but that would be something else.
Oh, that was really from the heart, you know.
Yeah. Heart based.
Heart-based warming. Yeah.
All right. All we have left is this little short, ladies and gentlemen. This little short that was super bass. AP, pay attention. It's super short.
Let's do it.
So you can actually pay attention. Where is it? All right, here we go. So this is, it was called something like The Apostle Paul was a warning, something Lakeview Church, but here it goes.
If you don't believe in the reality of the satanic, the demonic, and that we're actually in a war, here's all I want you to do. As I read this right now, I just want you to think about the events of the last 10 days, 2 weeks, and ask yourself, does any of this sound familiar? So let me describe the Apostle Paul's life to you. Number one, he went and reasoned with hostile, unbelieving people in the public square, and it got a little sporty every time he did it. Number two, when he started being successful and people started believing his message, what his opponents did is they started lying about him. They would take little snippets from his sermons, selectively edit them, spin them, take them out of context. In the book of Romans, what we find out is his critics were saying things like, oh, Paul says, let us do evil that good may result. They were saying things about, oh, Paul, he's defiling the temple. Or that, oh, Paul, he says Moses doesn't matter anymore.
You catching this, guys? If you're not familiar with the Bible, you see all these things like in the book of Acts and in Paul's letters where people are constantly falsely accusing him of saying things in order to stir up other people against him. So that's the background.
Until he got the other Pharisees to defend him.
That was one of the favorite things. That's why because when I read the Bible for the first time, it's like, oh, this Paul guy's pretty cool, but it was right there. It was right there. He goes in there. There's a scribe. It's the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and Paul's in trouble because he became a Christian. Now he's defending Jesus as the Messiah, and he steps in there and he goes, "Hey, I'm just in here because I believe in the resurrection." Talk about the resurrection of Jesus, but the Sadducees didn't believe in the resurrection. All the Pharisees are like, yeah, in your face, Sadducees. Anyway, caused a big.
There's a second century midrash, obviously the descendants of Pharisees, that says who are the groups that are destined for like what is the equivalent of eternal damnation, like forever in hell. Those are Sadducees and people that deny the resurrection of the dead, which is basically how Paul got them riled up against the Sadducees in that event.
Based. All right, so this pastor was explaining, just again, in case anyone's new, was explaining how people would Paul would go and debate, and you even have in Acts 17, he goes right into Athens, the intellectual capital of the world, and starts having discussions with the Stoic and Epicurean philosophers and so on. And how would people respond over time? They just make up stuff and increase hostility against him wherever he went.
Matter anymore. There were mobs in all the public forums where he went. Sometimes those mobs got violent. He was beaten multiple times. He was shipwrecked. He was lashed, all these things. And then when he started gaining the hearts of a generation and his movement to Christ started swelling, they assassinated him in public. Any of that sound familiar? Why are the same things still happening? Because the same spirits are still working. New days, same demons. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, and spiritual forces of evil in high places. But listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. I want to say two things. One of the best things that happened in the last 2 weeks is millions of Christians all over the world, they paused and they asked themselves the question, would I be willing to die for this? And because the Holy Spirit's inside of you, you real quick got to the answer, yes. And the second you did that, it broke the spirit of fear off millions of Christians. Good. Good.
And the reason that was important,
Powerful.
remember what, yeah, you heard it. You heard it here. You heard it here, everyone. AP said, powerful, powerful. No one could have predicted that reaction. No one. But so think how all this is connected. Dennis Prager was just pointing out, without courage, we're doomed. It all comes down to courage. Look at anything anyone's complaining about. The UK being overrun. People of the UK could fix that anytime they want by just having courage to face the consequences and the backlash that's going to come against them. But the moment they do that, the moment they say, you know what, I don't care what they can do to me. I'm not backing down from this. They win. The moment that happens, they win. So anyway, you had Dennis Prager. He was pointing out, without courage, we are doomed. If you are good, but you are not courageous, you're not going to help in the long run. And then talking about Charlie Kirk going on to college campuses. He eventually gets killed. And then we had Pastor there pointing out the same things just keep happening over and over again. If they can't refute you, they'll start demonizing you, stirring up hostility against you until they eventually get you killed, and so on. And so, but he pointed out, but what's been the result? Bunch of people saying, you know what, now's the time to stand up. And so, bunch of people becoming more courageous. And according to everyone we just heard from, that is exactly what's needed right now. All right. What is this?
Get up, stand up.
Take these last 3 super chats here. The Charlie situation and the Christian response may have converted my manager. I pray for him that he and this generation find peace in Christ.
Inshallah.
Dennis Prager has an old radio show, maybe from the late 2000s, a podcast in Spotify, where he spoke with Robert Spencer about how many people were killed in the name of Islam. No one's ever been killed in the name of Islam. That's
Really?
vicious
He talked
lie.
to Robert Spencer? That's funny.
I couldn't do a live with you guys. I die of laughter. Why? We're talking about serious stuff. Serious stuff.
Yeah.
There's nothing funny about the horrible stuff we talk about here. All right, guys, final thoughts on anything? And don't be like Dennis Prager and have like 6 points of final thoughts. No, I'm just kidding. Say whatever you want.
Well, what's interesting is like I said earlier, they there was people in the chat, like I disagreed with him heavily on this topic. But people were saying like they're doing the same thing to him that they did to Charlie. They're like taking one thing, focusing on that, and out of context.
He's pure evil. You see, he's pure evil. See?
Yep. But they say like, oh, he defended pedophilia. It's like, no, he didn't. He said he'd rather that the pedophile looks at AI generated material than go and molest children.
I would too.
I disagree with him heavily. I don't think that should exist at all.
No, I don't think it should exist.
He wasn't defending pedophilia.
Yeah, I'm saying if I had to decide, this guy is going to molest a child or he's going to look at some AI generated stuff, I would say, okay, yeah, I would much rather him look at the AI generated stuff. With that said, I don't want there being AI generated stuff. Right. Anyway.
But that was like out of context, not understanding the topic of conversation, and, you know, ruining the reputation of a man who's done so much good. With slander. It's like that's just a consistent theme now.
Slander is a very, very messed up thing in history, and it never goes away.
That is some vicious slander you just spread, AP.
True.
And last one here. Not that easy to overrun, D. Yes, it is. Not that easy to overrun, D-Wood. On average, 5% Muslims in each European country. Estimated 40,000 terrorists in the UK alone. Our army is about 74,000 strong. What army? In the UK, 40,000 terrorists. 40,000 terrorists in the UK.
Just get rid of them.
Yeah. Our
Easy.
army is 74,000 strong. So your official army of a modern nation, you're talking about a bunch of total douches working in kebab shops, but they're on a terror watch list and so on. And you're like, oh no, there's no way we can deal with him. We're not. And by the way, I'm not even talking about who is even talking about your army. You guys have a huge population, a huge majority. The moment people get some testicular fortitude, you can replace your leaders. It could happen instantly. I've already said you don't even need to go to war. You just need to make the UK a really, 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 really bad place for Islam by making criticism and mockery of Muhammad standard. You guys don't. And people. What's amazing is people don't believe me. Oh, that would never work. That would never work. Have you not seen how obsessed they are with shutting down any criticism of Muhammad? Why? They can't stand it. They cannot stand criticism and mockery of. That's why they're going for blasphemy laws, and your government is going along with it. If everywhere you went in the UK, people are blasting away at Muhammad, mocking him for every stupid. If everywhere they went, they heard about the al-Zut, they're not going to want to raise families there and stuff like that. They're going to want to get to a different place. So I'm not even talking about. This is simple. It's so freaking simple. All you have to do is have balls. What did everyone we just heard from say? It all comes down to courage. We're not scared of you making fun of us. We're not scared of you calling us names. We're not scared of you calling us Islamophobes and racists. We don't freaking care. Our country's on the line. This is not time to back down from words. Screw your fake prophet and your stupid book. And all you have to do is blast away and have enough people doing it. Anyone who doesn't want to hear that stuff is not going to want to be around there. They're just not going to want to be. And that's why they have to control your government to impose blasphemy laws on you. They can't take it. They just can't take it. And if you had enough people and you vote in some leaders who don't absolutely suck and who aren't complete cowards, then anyone who's on a terror watch list, boom, you're gone. Gone. Bye.
I have some good news for you, though.
What?
For the near future, especially in the UK. Especially in the UK. The latest polls, the latest research shows that the right-wing party, which led Brexit, Reform UK, is far ahead than they were in the last elections. And that in the next elections, they will probably very comfortably become the majority party, and will leave the Labour Party, Keir Starmer, far behind. Keir Starmer is panicking about it right now and talking because of this about Reform UK every single day. And just today or yesterday said, we are fighting for our lives. We have to unite and defeat Reform, because Reform wants to stop with all this charade, put an end to all the immigration charade, deport tons of people, reverse everything that the Labour Party did. They also just came out today and said, we feel ashamed for Labour's betrayal of Israel. We stand with Israel. It's pretty. They're going pretty hardcore right now, and it looks like they're going to win the next elections if it continues like this. So when I went there once and twice over the last few months, I said I have a lot of hope. Actually, I said a lot of bad things about the UK and about how much it is lost, but I went there and I think I have a lot of hope for the UK. I have a lot of hope for the UK, and I think that a lot of good things can come out of this.
Hey, check this out. Look at this. How will they do it with Shabana Mahmood in charge of the police? Are you joking? Are you still oh no, this woman's in charge of the police. Do you seriously not understand what would happen if 10 million people stood up and started mocking Muhammad? Repeat it. What's Shabana Mahmood going to do? Lock up 10 million people? Do you have that many spaces in your prisons? Guys, you don't. This is so simple. An idiot could understand this. And
hey, no, don't be so rude to Deborah, man. What is this?
Oh no, I don't even know if Deborah's joking or not, but it's just beyond ridiculous. The poll that Mohammed Hijab did years ago asked, hey, when you're doubting Islam, what is causing your doubts? Half the Muslims who answered said moral problems with Muhammad. Where'd they hear that from? They heard that from people making fun of Muhammad, and then they found out that it's true. Blasting away at Muhammad led to what's called the avalanche of apostasy. It went from the apostasy rate of young Muslims went from around 0% to 26% in like 15 years. Why? People blasting away at Muhammad. You look at the entire history of Islam, they always have to have blasphemy laws. That's why they're doing all this stuff with Islamophobia in Canada, in the United States, in the UK, in France, everywhere. We have to convince people that the worst thing in the world is Islamophobia. Why? So then we can make laws against criticizing Islam and call it Islamophobia. Why? Because they can't stand it. And they're in a place like the UK, where almost your entire government constantly praises Islam, where all the media constantly praise Islam, where all your educators constantly praise Islam. It's a very, very, very pro-Islam environment, so that when there's some random critic, they don't have to worry because they can silence that guy. If all of a sudden politicians, journalists, educators are exposing Islam, it's done. It's done. It's cooked. One, the apostasy rate's going to go through the roof, and anyone who doesn't want their kids becoming apostates is going to say, let's get out of this place now. This is not hard. It's so freaking simple. All people need to do is have balls. And if you don't, guess what? Dennis Prager's right. You have no chance. You have no chance. Either get some courage and quit whining, quit making excuses. Oh, but it's the government. Oh, but Shabana Mahmoud. Oh, no, there's all these things. It's all in your head. It's all in your head. Everything has been stacked against you to keep you in a state of fear to speak out against this. And the moment people as a whole say, you know what, screw all that stuff, we're not backing down, Islam is done. It's that weak. It's the weakest thing in the world. It's pathetic. It's a joke. The only way it continues is by keeping people scared. The moment you're not scared, Islam's done.
Hey, I'm ratioing Cenk Uygur right now. It's kind
No,
of
you're
cool.
not. Are you?
It's so funny, yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, send me that, and I will help.
He was
the
like,
ratio.
Muslims are currently going through the biggest human civil rights struggle in America. And I'm like, what are you talking
What
about?
an
man?
idiot! Where?
So-
What a dork!
say-
Yeah, I'm gonna go check on that. We have AP saying powerful. That's true. Powerful. That's true.
Powerful.
And then, talking about us laughing earlier. Oh my gosh, I meant about how funny you guys are in your jokes. I know. I was just messing with you. I die of laughter. I couldn't be serious. Thanks to you, jokesters. No, we know exactly what you're saying. If you're saying you'd be laughing the whole time you're with us. Yes, we get that. We have that effect on people. We talk about serious topics, but we're also super cool and super funny. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining in. Again, got the link to the full interview with Dennis Prager. Seems like a super sharp guy. Yep, hoping we'll see more from him, and I do look forward to his book coming out in February. All right, guys. Catch y'all next time.